What's going on, everybody? We're back. Saturday night on the come down from last weekend. Um, yeah, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. Hope everybody's doing well out there. If you were at the show this year, I hope you are adjusting to normal life, or readjusting to normal life, as it may be. Um, but yeah, it's been a pretty crazy week. Just getting back late Sunday, going back to work on Monday, and then it's like a friend of the channel, Paul Farver. I commented on his Facebook post a couple days ago. It's like you're going through the stages of grief when you come back from Pittsburgh and Living Dead weekend. It's Monday, because like by the time I got home Sunday night, it was like I said, my fiance thought I was on meth or something like that. And then so Monday, I'm still coming down, going back to work. Everything's kind of a blur. I don't really care what's going on around me. It's just kind of like it's all a daze. It's all. Tuesday, I'm angry. Like I'm going through the anger stage, or I'm just pissed off. I'm just, fuck this. Why am I here? Why am I not still in Pittsburgh? Why am I not still hanging out at the mall? Wednesday, pure depression. Just walking through life in a daze and in just a malaise, just sad. And Thursday, you start to come back around, and by today, like I'm fine. I think. But joining me tonight, I kind of had a little bit of a kind of had a running mate this year at Living Dead weekend, partner in crime, if you will, somewhat, may possibly literally. So we're gonna bring him on. We're gonna talk about this. He's gonna try to help me go through the series of events that took place Living Dead weekend. You all know him. You all love him from. Are we going to do this again tonight? I swear to God, I will. I'm just going to snap. So let's fucking internet. Anyway, as I was saying, got a guest tonight. If things go haywire for me, he can take over. He pretty much experienced everything I experienced, so he could tell you the story. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Will Phelps.
What's up? Hey.
All right. So am I coming through okay? I'm going through some technical difficulty here.
No, you're good. I can hear you. It was just that one little hiccup, I think.
Let's hope. So how you been, man? How are you adjusting to normal life? I know you had a busy week.
I don't feel normal.
No, it's like I said, the first few days it was just like, oh man, because I mean, there's just so much in Pittsburgh. It's like you love being there. We explored all over the fucking place. I mean, we literally spent most of the time driving from place to place and seeing everything that there was to see.
I will probably say that this is probably the best con experience that I've ever had. Literally.
Yeah, I think so. It was just a great trip all around. I mean, there was just so much going on, so many people to talk to. I mean, it flew by. It went by so fast. It kind of sucked that way because it's like you got there on Wednesday. I got close to being there on Wednesday, and then by the time before we knew it, it was like Sunday, and we were just like, because originally Sunday we planned, it was just like, yeah, we'll probably leave early Sunday and get back at a decent time, and do laundry and try to catch up before the work week starts. And then before we knew it, it was like 3:00, and we were just like, all right, I guess it's time to leave. And then back home, 8-hour drive.
Head was held down low. I was driving away.
Oh, I know. It was weird. My playlist on on the way home, I was just listening to music. It was just like one sad ass song after another. At one point, Tracy Chapman's "Give Me One Reason to Stay Here," and I was just like driving out of Pittsburgh, just like, yeah, I'll turn back around. Let's see, we got in the chat. Synth Addict, what's up, man? It was good hanging out with you.
I know. We talked to him for hours.
Yeah, and Synth was a busy man at the con. If you want to check out a lot of footage from Living Dead weekend this year, go check out Synth's page. A lot of live streams, a lot of panels. I mean, just walkthroughs. I mean, man did it all. Glad to see you in here, man. Matt Landrum, what's up, man? Your package is in the mail. I dropped it off today, by the way. So it should be there soon. What's up, man? Good to see you. Yes, Boy Harsher is the opening track tonight. Good ear. I know Matt's got great taste in music, so good one, man. Alpha Romero's in the house tonight. What's up? Hakeem Watts, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hearst Hill. Hopefully I'm doing this a little early tonight. As you can see, it's still fucking sunlight outside, so it's a little, I don't know, weird for me. Like the women and children have not been put to bed yet, so it's a little off for me. But so hopefully you can catch most of the stream tonight before you have to go in and work your graveyard shift as usual. Well, let's see who else we got in here in comments. Yeah, Hakeem, you do. I don't know where you're from or how far of a trip it is, but Synth flew in all the way from California, and I think he had a good time. He seemed like he was having a good time. He was constantly staying busy with that camera of his. But yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you're a huge fan of these movies, if you're a huge Romero fan, Dawn fan, whatever, if you just make the trip, because everybody wants to visit the mall, and there's no better time to do it than when they're having a convention going on with tons of like-minded people. So Matt says that's awesome. I got a Boy Harsher Romero story to tell you one day. I would be interested in hearing that. That's interesting. Wonder what the connection there would be. Jade Purdy's in the house. What's up? You like that opening sequence? I think you got a sneak peek of that last night. So let's see. Sin says, "Hey Will, great fun hanging out with you guys at LDW."
What's up? Yeah, we man. We talked in the park. We talked to him for what, 3 or 4 hours in the parking lot that night.
Yeah, I mean it was about we were out there for about 3 hours from the time the mall closed to almost 11 o'clock. So let's see. My drone shots of the Red Barn House were a colossal fail. Oh, that sucks.
Oh man.
So Synth was planning on doing drone shots, kind of recreating the helicopter scene, or when the helicopter's flying over and they're like, but those rednecks are probably enjoying the whole thing. He's planning on doing that. I was looking forward to seeing that, but that sucks. Bad Wi-Fi video signal. Yeah, I'm sure it was out there. I'm not, probably not the greatest. Also says thanks. I had more LDW videos to go up as I recorded them locally and have to process. I'm looking forward to it, man. Because I know you got a lot of footage, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out.
I watched his Evans City drive the other day.
Yeah, I watched that too. He stopped and got the can of Iron City. Yeah. I've been checking them out. Just going back through and especially like some of the panels. Like, did you see him talking to Jim Cirinella, asking him about the Carl Hardman?
No, I didn't get that far. No,
that was pretty interesting because you could tell like it Synth, kind of knows his shit. So Jim was kind of taken back, like, wow, he's probably never had that question before. But it was interesting because you could tell Jim just kind of sat back and was like, okay, let's talk, because you obviously know what you're talking about. So yeah, that was cool. I'd recommend checking that out.
I've got to see that. I need to see Jim stumped for a second.
Well, I don't know if he was stumped. I think he was just taken back by like somebody asking him that question,
Yeah.
But he had an answer for it, so I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know if you can stump Jim on Night of the Living Dead stuff. So
Jim is the mastermind. I admire him.
What did you call him? The Master of Night?
Yeah.
I
admire him.
The awesome title to bestow upon somebody. All right, so let's go through the trip. Let's just start from the beginning. You left on a Wednesday, right?
Right. Yeah, I got there Wednesday evening. I was like, I'll just stay at the same hotel we're staying at. I got there. I was pretty beat. I was like, but then
you made pretty good time.
Yeah, I did about 90 all the way.
Yeah.
I saw one cop the entire way from Kentucky all the way to Pittsburgh. One cop.
Now that you say that, I don't really. Well, there were a few. I think in like Ohio somewhere. I remember seeing some, but yeah, you left Wednesday. You got there. I don't know about what time Wednesday.
About 5:30ish.
It was about 5:30. Yeah, I left. I worked about half a day on Wednesday and then left probably around 2:00. I drove and drove and drove, made it as far as I could, and Washington was about as far as I was ready to go. I was like, because not Mount Washington, but Washington, PA is, 30 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. There was a Red Roof in there. It was like $40. I was just like, yeah, I'll stop here. I'll grab a couple of beers and just call it a night. I didn't stop. I think I stopped once, and I had to take a shit on the way there in Ohio. It was somewhere.
Did you have Dairy Queen?
No. Look, I knew better than to stop at a Dairy Queen anywhere near or around Washington, PA. I didn't do that. But no, it was somewhere between. I was in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
It was a truck stop. I can't remember the name of the town, but it was in between Columbus and Wheeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped there, gassed up, and to go take a shit. But I realized something. I had an epiphany about shitting at a truck stop. And I'm one of those people that I hate shitting in public. I don't like public stalls. I don't like sitting next to somebody because it's like, do you want to start a conversation? Do you want to trade? I don't know. But there's something oddly, I don't know, not comfortable, but shitting at a truck stop, you let your guard down a little bit because no matter what you're doing in that stall, it's nothing compared to the fucking truckers on each side of you. Because my God, the guy on the right of me, it sounded like he shit his intestines out. I was just sitting there like quietly, just like, and then all of a sudden he started going, and the guy next to me just started blasting ass like crazy, and I was just like, all right, I guess I'm free to do whatever I want. So I just kicked my legs up and just went for it. But I had that. I was like, the truck stops. It's like that's the place to just let your freak flag fly. So that's probably the most interesting part of my trip up. But yeah, got to Washington, checked in the Red Roof. Like I said, about $40. Not a bad. You would hate it because I realized pretty quickly that you are not a. When it comes to bed bugs and all that, you're very particular about where you're sleeping, which is understandable. Yeah. But I just had to kill a few spiders and
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and it was fine. I hooked up the Blu-ray player, rewatched Lightning over Braddock, and just chill. We'll talk about it. I made Will finally watch Lightning over Braddock over the vacation. So yeah, just chilled in Washington, called it a night, woke up the next morning, and then me and you decided to meet up at the Monroeville Mall. If I remember that correct.
Yeah.
And it took me forever because the traffic going into Pittsburgh, coming out of Pittsburgh, there's so much construction and shit going on. And it threw me off. I missed my turn, and before I knew it, I was almost in what is that town called? Pretty much close to Evans City, Wexler or something.
Oh yeah,
what I'm talking about? Wexford.
Yeah.
Wexford.
Yeah.
But I finally make it to the mall, and probably about 30 minutes later than what I said. And you got there early. You got there a little bit earlier than I did, and you stopped at a half-price Books, which I went to for the first time over there. So when you got to the mall, what did you do while you were waiting for me, driving around lost in Western Pennsylvania somewhere trying to avoid potholes and construction workers?
So I walk in the classic entrance, the OG entrance. And I walk down to the hall to see, what it looked like, whatnot. And then I see this little guy walking around with a phone. I mean, he's just walking around. He's looking up. He's doing this number right here. I was like, oh, he's a fan. I was like, yeah. So I went over to him and I introduced myself. I was like, hey, would you like me to give you a tour? I used one of Larry's lines on a tour. And so I took
little Larry over here.
Yeah, I took him on a little mini tour. It was wonderful. It was great. And then I just roamed around for a little bit longer. And then you showed up, and then it was on like Donkey Kong. I don't think we stopped.
No, I don't think we did either. Like, we barely slept, so I don't think we hardly ever stopped. But yeah, I finally made it to the mall. Walked in, caught you coming to the entrance. We met. Just kind of walked around the mall a little bit. And then we decided to set our sights to some locations for night riders, which turned out to be a pretty interesting story. So I mentioned a second ago that Will's, well, did we go? I don't remember. Did we go do the locations first, or did we check in the hotel first? I think we did.
We did locations first, and then we went and checked into the hotel.
Yeah, so we end up driving out. I don't even remember where the fuck this place was. We just ended up driving out in the middle of nowhere, and we found the cemetery from the end of Night Riders. Um, and we're driving through, and we find the spot. Like you can match up kind of the headstone that the one we were trying to match up and look for is the one where John Amplis is standing with his hand on the top of the headstone and shit while while they're crying and playing music over Billy's funeral. Um, so we find that we were trying to match that up. We're out there. It's like, oh, that's it, that's totally it. You can see the
Yeah.
tombstone in the background. We line it up, we take a couple pictures, and we're like, all right, this is pretty cool. We're kind of, watching it on the phone, trying to match up different shots. We're like, all right, well, we took some pictures. We found it. Like, this is pretty cool. We was like, all right, let's head back to the car and get out of here. So I get in the car and I'm turning it on. I'm like, all right, you ready? And you're out. You're still like waiting. And you're like, oh, I think I found a tick. I was like, oh, really? And as soon as you said that, I looked down, and in my lap, I just see like 2 or 3 different ticks just crawling around my leg. As I'm saying this, you're convulsing. And turns out, like, yeah, we were completely covered in ticks when we were out there.
I had a meltdown.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a whole lot of ticks in a long time. I mean,
I didn't know they still existed.
because like when I was younger, like we used to play in the woods and stuff, and like we were always taught, like, oh, when you come back in, make sure you check for ticks, check your balls, especially. I pass that information on to you. Check your balls, because I don't know why. I don't know. I guess it's because that's the warmest spot because you're always sitting on your balls. That's where ticks migrate to, and they love to just cling on to your sack but. So yeah, the whole drive. We went and found the outdoor life lodge as well, where they shot. Which it wasn't open. I was kind of open because I've always heard there's photos and stuff in there from the movie. But they weren't open. We were the whole fucking ride after that. We were just like itching and checking, and every now you'd find one just crawling on the window, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. So I guess I don't know if there was a nest or they were just dropping from the trees because there were trees above us. So I don't know. It wasn't. And the whole rest of the day, it's just like you always feel like shit's just crawling on you.
Yeah, I was like, shit. I was like, this has set the tone for the whole trip. I was like, it's gonna be one thing after another. I could feel
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, the ticks were not even the
right.
worst part about it. And we actually ended up telling John Amplis about that. We walked up to his table, and he actually had the 8x10 of that shot of him standing at the at that headstone. And we're like, oh yeah, we found this yesterday. He's like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then it was just like, yeah. And then we were covered in fucking ticks. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry about that.
But by the way, you still have those Taylor Swift tickets available?
Yeah, yeah. For anybody that doesn't know or didn't hear, I don't know if that account's been deactivated or not yet. But apparently he'd been hacked, and he was trying. I guess he was at first he was trying to sell a car or something for like $3,000, and then it was like Taylor Swift tickets. So he's got a new Facebook page. I added him the other day, so we're friends on it now. But yeah, if you were friends with John Amplis on his old Facebook page, that's not him. Do not try to buy Taylor Swift tickets from him. Paul, what's up, man? What's up, Jens? Had an epic time last week. Can't wait for next year. Yeah, I don't know if you heard or saw. Larry was posting. He mentioned something over the weekend about possibly there being something smaller in October. I'm interested what that's going to be. I think that would work well because I had a lot of fun. Did you ever make it to the Evans City shows?
Nope, never did.
Yeah, I never did either until last October, and I went up there, and that was also the time that I went to the archive. And it's fun. It's smaller. It's a little more intimate. Like there's it's not as big as the mall. I had a lot of fun, but I could definitely see how doing 2 a year might be, which I kind of wonder, how successful this one was this year. Have you heard any rumblings?
No, not really. I mean, besides Kevin posting, they have to clean up, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was successful. I mean,
it was successful for me.
I mean, compared to what it was last year, I think it was probably a little less, but
Yeah, yeah. I would say because I know in 2021, my first time that I went. Well, of course, last year was the Dawn reunion, so that was a
Yeah.
big one. In 2021, it was like the first one they had after post COVID, and it was the Day of the Dead reunion, the Return of the Living Dead reunion. So two big movies, a lot of big time guests, and that one was pretty packed. So this year, yeah, I mean, I think it was a little. It felt like possibly a little less
Hmm.
than probably last year, um, but I had I had a good time.
It
No
was
complaints
epic.
from me.
Yeah, it was a really
Um,
great time.
let's see. I guess he's talking about the truck stops.
Yeah, lot lizards.
I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down there,
Yep,
Herschel.
yep.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do to make an 8-hour
I
trip.
mean, I
You
mean,
got to.
he had two hands, you know.
I was skiing through the truck stop, baby. That's what we do. Um, let's see.
For a good time, call Alpha Romero.
Did you see that? I put that. Yeah. Um, that's interesting. Since there's what hotel did you stay? This hotel room near the mall looked like something from Twin Peaks or a sewer. Did you stay at the Red Roof Inn at in Monroeville? Because that was one of my two choices. Because at one point, so me and Will decided to split a room and split the cost. And I was looking at Airbnbs at first, and then Will was like, "Oh, I don't think I'll be able to make it this year." And I was like, "Fuck you, bastard!" So I had to cancel that. And then I was thinking between the Red Roof and the Clarion Inn, which we ended up staying at the Clarion in Cranberry Township. It's a little bit outside of Monroeville. It's a little bit of a drive. It's closer to Evans City, but it was cheaper and really nice room. For me, I mean, I don't know about Will. Will's a little more picky than I am, but it smelled great. I mean, that's all I
Yeah.
cared about. You didn't get hit with fucking cigarette smoke as soon as you walked in, so that was a big plus. Um, but yeah, did you stay at the Red Roof Synth? Let me know. 'Cause I stayed there one time for one night, and it was it was okay for me. Will was not. I think Will ended up carrying it out. And
I pulled a Karen like I almost did at Red Robin.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll talk about Red Robin in a minute.
Yeah, that first time I stayed at Red Roof, I was like, excuse me, can I please have some cleaning supplies and some rags because I need to clean my room. They're like, well, it's clean. I was like, not to my standards, it's not.
That's some Karen. That's some Karen ass shit right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some cleaning supplies because this room is nasty.
Like that's how we say it in the South, you know.
I need some Fabuloso. Mayor, what's up, man? Good to see you. That's weird that you mentioned John Amplis. I just sent him a friend request this morning on Facebook. Hope I got the right one. You, I don't know. I can't remember what his old photo is. His new photo, I think, is just like a close up of his face, ain't it?
I
If I
think so,
remember
yeah.
correctly. But yeah, if you befriend the old one, you have a good chance of getting some Taylor Swift tickets. So
Yeah.
or not. But good to see you, man. Glad you stopped by. Matt says heard a lot of people say it was more low key this year. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I mean it's Night of the Creeps. I mean it's a big title for hardcore horror fans, but it's not Return of the Living Dead or something, So yeah, I mean maybe it was a little more low key. Plus with the whole DoubleTree thing, I think and just speaking to Larry about it, it seemed like it was a little harder to get as many guests this year because they didn't have the DoubleTree literally right across the parking lot. So, but no, I mean it was fine. It was fun. I think next year though is what 40th anniversary of Day of the Dead, so I think you can go ahead and expect that, and then the 20th anniversary of Land of the Dead too. For anybody that
That
wants a Eugene Clark CD. Have you ever listened to Eugene Clark's
I
music?
haven't. I haven't.
Man, oh man. This was like one of the first videos I did on here was I went through and listened to every single track and just reacted to it in live. Like 90% of it is shit, but there's one song on it that I'm like, this would have been a huge fucking hit in the 90s easily. Unfortunately, it came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So it's a little dated, but whatever. Let's see. No hotels. A 15-minute drive to the mall. I forgot the city name. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you didn't
He was probably like Squirrel Hill or some shit.
Squirrel Hill. Yeah. Squirrel Hill. That sounds like somewhere in fucking Kentucky.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a Possum Trot, Kentucky. You ever been to Possum Trot?
Yeah, and I deal with a lot of people from work that live in Possum Trot.
Well, you work for the Social Security, so that makes sense. I can see that. So yeah, then Thursday we, if I remember correctly, after we were covered in ticks, left the Night Riders location, we decided to go out to Evans City to the cemetery.
Yeah,
And that's where we met the one and only Drewski McGillicuddy. If you guys are not, check him out. Look him up on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel. He was out there filming something with his wife, and I guess it was a stepson.
Stepson. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
They were out there filming. We come up and we're like, oh, fans are here, because usually that happens on that weekend. You go out to the Evans City Cemetery, you're gonna run into fans and whatnot. And he was filming something, and they were, we started talking, and one thing led to another, and it was just like before I knew it, we were watching videos of him blowing shit up randomly. I was like, what is going on? But he's a good guy. I think he was from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And
California, Kentucky, or
California, Kentucky. Yeah, because I'd never heard of that. I've heard of Sacramento, Kentucky, but I've never heard of California, Kentucky. But yeah, interesting guy, very, very high energy kind of guy. Check out his channel, like I said, Drewski McGillicuddy. And funny enough, when I first checked it out, like I said, it was just more videos of him blowing shit up. We were watching it in the hotel room. I was like, yeah, this is just like dude blowing shit up. But I actually started watching some more of his videos here when I got home, and it's actually pretty interesting and entertaining stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of his like review. It's just weird. Like he has his own style. I told him, I was like, dude, you have your own style. Go with it. Like, this is good shit. He commented, it was like, what, ADHD as fuck? Like, that's my style. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it's working for you, that's the secret,
Yeah.
So yeah, we just kind of, hung out at the cemetery a little bit, which is always nice out there, calm, quiet. And the beautiful thing about the Evans City Cemetery is that it really doesn't change. It's pretty much, it almost looks exactly like it did back in the day. Because I mean, it's a cemetery. What else did we do on Thursday? I don't remember. I know we went to eat at that one restaurant. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, we also went over to the farmhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, I took you to the opening scenes first.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I'd never been to the opening where Barbara and Johnny, the first two shots of the movie. Never seen that. You hooked me up with that. I don't think I would have ever found that without you. So thank you.
I don't know if you know this or not, but that was actually Gary Striner driving the car.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Barbara and Johnny were in the car. That was Gary Striner driving.
Oh, I did not know that. So yeah, then we went by where the old farmhouse used to be. There's a house there now, but it's not the same house from back then, obviously, because they tore it down. But I didn't realize that LMA Smith lived right next to that.
Yeah,
I've probably heard that somewhere before, but I never realized it. And you actually didn't you just kind of go up to her house and start talking to her or something like that?
Yeah, well, it was the first year that I went. Literally went up there and then went, found the location. And Jim told me that she lived, right there beside the property. And so I drive by and I see the door open, and there's this lady sitting at her kitchen table. So I park and I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, you mind if I park my car here? I'm going to walk around, take some photos. I just wanted to make sure it was her, and then I was like, oh my God, that is her. So I came back. I was like, hey, by chance, are you LMA Smith? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. I was like, can I have your autograph? That's the first thing. I was like, can I have your autograph? And oddly enough, as we were leaving there, that's when the news broke about Marilyn Eastman passing away.
Oh, wow.
Really? It was just so weird. I mean, as soon as we left, that's when the news broke. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's just a coincidence. But yeah, went and talked to her for a few minutes, and I was like, I'll see you next time.
I'm
Right.
surprised she wasn't there this year. I mean, she, you know, I feel like she really gets into it and really enjoys her time as a celebrity, if you will. But yeah, that's pretty fine. Very slick of you, by the way, to be like, "Hey, do you mind if I park here?" Random stranger.
Yeah.
Kind of
Had to gauge it
sneaky.
out, right? Had to gauge it out, but I mean, it says right there, Smith, like locksmith or whatever Smith. It has the name, right? Like the name in the like a marquee in the yard.
Mm,
It's it. I can't remember if they were locksmith or something like that. I can't remember, but it says Smith something.
okay, so Smith. So what are they, locksmiths or something? Like, is her husband a
Maybe
locksmith or something?
something like that. It's Smith something. I don't remember. It could be like salvage or heck, I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, we drove by there. It didn't look like she was home though. I was
No,
like,
she
"Hey,
would.
let's have a
Right.
maybe
I
she'll
was.
make
I
maybe she'll
yeah.
make us some food or something." I just picture her just be like, "Come on in and
Right.
have some food."
Do you have cookies? I'll take some cookies.
Um. So yeah, we looked at that, and then I think we went back because I don't think we had eaten that day up until this point, which a common occurrence. We barely ate while we were there. I think we ate like one
Yeah.
time each day
Yeah.
before we completely just fucking fell apart by Sunday. Uh, so then we went to eat. I think we just went back and just hung out in the hotel room. I made you watch Lightning over Braddock, for the first time because I was like,
Yeah.
"Look, meeting Tony Buba, you got to watch this. You got to check it out." I brought it with me. What are your thoughts overall? Lightning over Braddock.
10 out of 10. Like, I hadn't seen something that great in so long. Like, I was so like, Sweet Sal, man,
Sweet
what a
Sal is a
character.
man.
What a character. What
I
a
know.
character.
And I figured you'd probably like it when I discovered that you were a fan of the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're gonna like this. If you like documentaries and weird ass movies about
Hmm.
interesting fucking people, you're gonna like it.
Yep. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. The first time I saw it, I was just like, this is really interesting because
Right.
I didn't know because it started like when we first started watching it, it feels like it's just gonna be a documentary about Braddock.
Hmm.
And Tony Buba does a good job of kind of setting it up. And it's like, okay, we're going to tell the story of how Braddock is, you know, crumbling and how the steel mills are closing and all this. But eventually it takes a left turn into Sweet Salville and then all these other characters from all of Tony's other short films that he brings in and creates this. It's like I said, it's like the Avengers of fucking the Tony Buba universe.
I was like, no fucking way. I was like, there's no fucking way this is real. But then I was like, I got questions. I have questions to ask. I was like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah, and I ended up buying you that Blu-ray the next day. I was like, "Here, I'm glad that you enjoyed it." Because if you guys, if you've been watching this channel long enough, any chance I get to promote Lightning over Braddock, and it's always, I mean, it's available through Kino. If you go to the Kino website, they have it on Blu-ray. I know sometimes when Kino has their sales, you can get it for pretty cheap. But yeah, highly recommend. And this is well over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy is recommending it as well. It's so fucking backwards. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So yeah, we watched Lightning over Braddock, just kind of chilled. I think we went to bed at a somewhat decent hour that night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
somewhat
12-ish, 1,
12-ish.
something like
That
that.
sounds about right. So then Friday rolls around. We end up going to Half Price Books first. I don't even remember what part of Pittsburgh that was in, but we, checking out. You're looking at VHS. They had all kinds of shit there. I really wish I would have grabbed one of those VCRs because I really need a VCR upgrade.
Yeah, those are a good price. $15 for those. That was a good price.
I mean, you can't find one on eBay for less than 100.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like. So we went there, looked around. I ended up picking up my first. I guess it would have been my first purchase on the trip was Night of the Living Dead 3D on DVD because I didn't have it. I would show it off right now, but I have no idea what the fuck I did with it. So I don't even know if I still have it. But it actually still had like the 3D glasses and stuff in it, and I was like, yeah, it's like $4 or something. So I was like, I'll get it. I don't remember. Did you end up picking it up anything?
Yeah, that copy, that like my 100th DVD copy of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I can't. Every time I see one, I have to pick it up. I don't care if I have it. If I have it 10 times over, like if I see a copy, I'm picking it up.
Well, dude, with Night of the Living Dead, I mean, you're gonna be doing this for the rest of your life because there are
Yeah,
so many releases. Just
yeah. And that's where I found that those 2 copies of that Night of the Living Dead play, the one that I gave you.
oh yeah, I'll show that off right now. Actually, I have it handy. So, Will gifted me when I got there. It's a, I guess you can see that. I don't know, what would you call this? It's like a
Like a like a program, like a musical program or something, playbill, something like that, maybe.
playbill. That sounds
Yeah.
right. So this is basically kind of a little script from when they first did Night of the Living Dead as a stage play, I guess. Um, Laurie Allen Ohm adapted it for the stage. I'd never seen one of these before, and I was pretty blown away when you gave it to me. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you again for it. But it's pretty damn cool. Like I said, I'd never seen one of these before, so
Yeah.
pretty cool. And you found that at Half Price Books.
Yeah. At the one that we went to, I found 2 copies, and I was like, well, I'll just go and buy both because it was like $2 or $3 a piece. I was like, can't pass
Yeah,
both.
something like that. Yeah, that you don't like. I don't like I said. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that's a really cool um, little piece of memorabilia there.
Yeah, for
Then
sure.
after that, we went to a place downtown. What was it on Penn Avenue? I think
Yeah. Well, off of Penn Avenue.
was it off of Penn?
What was it called? Elliot.
Was it Eads or something like that?
Yeah, Eads. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Larry told me about that first year that I went. He was like, "You gotta go to Eads."
yeah. So we decided to go down there. Convention didn't start. Like I said, on Friday it didn't start till like 2 o'clock. So we pretty much just spent our time checking out this place for quite a while. There's a lot to look at. It's 4 stories of shit, and every story has a lot of shit to look at. Um, First thing though, as soon as I walked in, I eventually talked myself into getting it. If I can figure out a way to show this off, I'm gonna have to stand up. All right, so it's not Romero related, but move that up. So it's a Maniac poster. You can see there. $20. They sold it to me for 10, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything. I've never seen that poster before. I think it's from the Blue Underground release from 2010 or something like that. I don't think I've ever stood up. Now I've fucked everything up. So yeah, I ended up picking up that poster, which caught my eye. Like I said, $20. It says on there not an actual movie poster. It's like a 27 by 39 or something like that. So I don't know. I'll frame it at some point. Or hell, I don't know. I don't really have room for it, but
just sit there.
I didn't pass it up though, and especially when when it turned out to be like $10. I was like, all right, But we looked around. You were blown away by something in particular.
Yeah, that Bill Huntsman doll. That was badass.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the big box porn that they had.
Oh yeah, the
You were
big
blown
box
away.
gay porn. The big box gay porn. It's that.
You were so blown away. You were like, "Oh my god, they got the big box stuff." I was like, "What?"
I haven't seen big box porn in years.
Yeah, and it was like $3 or something like that. I mean, just
Yeah,
the collector aspect alone. I mean, you can't beat that. But yeah, the Bill Heinzman doll. You almost before we even got to the convention, you almost dropped a couple $100 on that.
yeah, 250 almost. Had to walk away from that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. You don't see a lot of those out in the wild. And you tried to negotiate with, because I guess the guy that actually owned it was working there at the time.
I think that's probably why you got that deal because he thought I was going to buy that for 250, and then he kind of was like, "Oh well, he's going to get a deal. I'll give you a deal."
Yeah, maybe that's the secret. Maybe take a buddy in and pretend like you're gonna
Yep.
buy something high price and be like, "Hey, I'll take this little
Yeah.
$20 thing over here." And they're like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you for 10."
Right.
And then we just like, "All right, we'll come back tomorrow." And then
Exactly. Yep.
But it was a really cool store. Like I said, there's like 4 level. I mean, just everything. I mean, Blu-rays, 4Ks, magazines, books, just
the big ass TV
Everything.
that they had.
Yeah, was that down in the basement, the bottom floor, if I remember
Maybe.
correctly. Anyway, so there's like it's in levels. Like one level is like mostly records and music and vinyl, shit like that. And up there they had like the TV. There's just like this big box TV, and you were smitten with that thing. I was just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we gonna do? How are we gonna transport this from one place to another? Will, this is not gonna work.
Yeah, you would need a U-Haul for that.
Yeah, and that's back in the day when if you needed to move your TV from one spot to the other in your house, it was like you have to call a few buddies over to help you.
Exactly.
But yeah, they had comic books, posters. I mean, just a ridiculous amount of shit. I highly recommend checking it out. I wish I had the what street it's on. I want to say, I mean, it's close to Penn Avenue. I remember that correctly. But it's downtown somewhere. Like Eads, it's what, EADS?
Yeah.
So yeah, next time you're in Pittsburgh, if you're into collecting, and I mean, like I said, Blu-rays, 4K. I mean, they had all kinds of shit, brand new stuff from all the boutique labels, Blue Underground, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, tons of stuff. Yeah, if you're a collector, if you're into physical media, that's a destination place to check out. Glad you hooked me up with. Let me catch up on some comments here real quick, and then we'll move on. Because then after that, I think we finally made it to Living Dead weekend.
Yeah.
Grande, what's up, man? Good to see you. I got your shit in the mail today too. So it should be headed your way soon. Matt says, can't wait for Eugene Clark to aggressively sell me something. Sell me everything on his table. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I was really excited to meet Eugene Clark because I'd met him once in 2008 or whatnot when it was a Texas Frightmare weekend. But this last October at the Evans City show, he was there, and I was like, oh man, I want to talk to him about his music. And I get there, and I'm just like, hey man, I actually, I do a channel on YouTube. I got your CD. I reviewed it track by track, and I'm going in and like, dude, let the love flame burn or whatever that song was called. I haven't listened to it forever, but keep the love flame burning. That's what it's called. I'm like, hey man, that would have been a hit back in the day. And he was just like, oh yeah, thanks man, thanks. Hey, how about we do this bundle right here? You can't say no. I'm just like, oh fuck, here we go, QVC mode, here we go. And he starts, and then you can take a picture with me for free. That's usually $50. And I'm like, I'm good, but I'll see you later, dude. So that was kind of disappointing. But since says he had the whole Evans City Cemetery to himself Thursday morning, that'd have been cool to go like early in the morning to them, but we didn't manage to do much of shit early in the morning.
No, you have to go on daylight savings time at 8:00.
That's right. Should be the first day of summer.
I actually had her write that on an autograph for me. That's like my favorite line of hers.
Yeah, it's such a weird line. Like some of the dialogue in Night of the Living Dead is kind of weird.
Yeah. And my favorite Johnny,
but it's kind of foreshadowing too.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite Johnny quote is, "Boy, you'll be damned to hell." Boy, you'll be damned to hell.
It's such a good impression too that he does. That it almost sounds like it's like overdubbed with somebody else's voice for that line. It's like, boy, you'll be damned to hell. Granny says, I've got to see Lightning Over Braddock. Need to find where to watch. Yeah, you do, man. Like I said, keep an eye out. When Kino has their sales, it's always on sale for like $8 for the Blu-ray. And I mean, it comes with Lightning Over Braddock. I mean, it comes with all of Tony's documentaries from back in the days, from Sweet Sal to J. Roy's new and used furniture to Steve Pellegrino and the fucking the accordion player. It's totally worth it. It's so good. I wish more people would see it. And since I like the J. Roy character and his other short, J. Roy's awesome. I quote J. Roy all the time. Like that. He's my spiritual guide. It's like, guys, you got to learn to control what you think.
Right.
Because what you think is going to determine what you do, and what you do is going to determine what you get. I think about that all the time. Like, that's right. It's true though. I mean, if you're overthinking everything and you're not, and it's, distracting you from doing what you need to do, you're not going to get what you want to get. J. Roy is a fucking prophet. So
Yep.
let's see. Since I have lightning to watch it still, watch it. Get on there and watch it.
And watch that Two Evil Eyes too while you're at it.
Yeah. If you must, though. I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of that movie.
Yeah.
Zed of the Dead, what's up, man? I had a blast and loved Merton me. Typo, I'm guessing. I don't know. Meeting you. Okay, right on. Robert Dobbins, what's up, man? We met up with him and his wife, Christine Romero.
Oh yeah, that was cool as shit. Hell yeah.
And he got some badass tattoos too. I'm kind of jealous of that Monroeville Mall tattoo that he got. I kind of want to do that now. I want to get a tattoo at that because we looked at that tattoo shop when we were leaving the Red Robin out at the front of the mall. I was like, it'd be kind of cool to get a tattoo at the mall.
It's just a shame what Savini did to his Day of the Dead DVD.
Oh yeah. So we run into him in the mall. We're coming back in. I think we're coming. Where are we coming from? There's no fucking telling. But we run into him and he's just like, dude, you were so right about Tom Savini. He is such a dick. It's like, I told you. And his wife was like, Christy was like, yeah, he just makes you feel bad about being a fan. Fuck him. I was like, that's the perfect description of meeting Tom Savini. Although we met him this time and talked to him for a second, you asked him a question and it wasn't.
Yeah, well, like I didn't introduce it. I didn't get anything. I don't want to meet the man. I don't. I'm terrified. Like
you just wanted to ask him a question and he answered it and he was nice, but it was just like.
I started to check it in. He's like, safety first. I'm like, fist bump.
Oh yeah. I remember that. He fucking stood you up and gave you the fist bump thing.
Man, it's okay.
But yeah, apparently like Savini, he had Robert had his Day of the Dead DVD, the one that opens up from the Anchor Bay DVD from back in the day, kind of opens up, and Savini signed the inside of that and then closed it where nobody could fucking see his signature. I'm like, that's I told him, I was like, dude, that's a total Savini move right there.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what happened on my Day of the Dead book. That I got Howard Berger to sign. I've gotten signatures from all kinds of, Greg Nicotero and Lori Cardill and anybody that I meet from Day of the Dead, I get to sign that book. And I took it up to Savini because I didn't have Savini's signature on it. And he just, in just big letters, didn't give a shit where he was signing. It was just like, just signed his name over like 2 or 3 other people. And I was just like, all right, thanks, Tom. Yeah, Savini, he doesn't put much thought or care into what he's signing or where.
He's probably just miserable sitting there. He just doesn't like it.
Why does he do so many fucking shows then?
I mean, I don't know.
Because Savini at one point, he's kind of slowed down over the years, but at one point, Savini would just fucking do any show that would have him. I mean, he was everywhere. I get it; it's a source of income, but if you don't like doing it, because I understand like Tom's kind of a weird cat, so he might be a little, I don't know, I don't know. Introverted. Yeah, it's just kind of because if you get him on stage or you get him in front of a camera, he lights up and he's fine. But if you try to meet him person to person, although outside of a convention, if you bump into him, like I bumped into him at the lobby in the lobby of the DoubleTree one year, and you couldn't have been nicer. He's like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Are you here for the show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, great. Well, I'll see you over there." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, Tom." And then I see him over there, and he's just like, "Hey, what's up? All right, thanks. Leave me alone. Go." All right, I gotta eat. Yeah. He's always eating. That's the thing too. Wasn't he eating when we met him?
Yeah.
We saw this time he was eating something. Anyway, catch up on. Yeah, the Night of Living Dead colorized version. Remember that? Matt says, yeah, Eugene did the same thing to him at a convention in Charlotte a while back. It was pretty intense. It was weird that he was bending and originally thought he was a guest. Yeah, he's kind of both. He's kind of like John Russo in that way, where Russo's a guest, but he's also, which is smart. I mean, it's a smart way to do it because, I mean, if you're a guest at a show, what better way to get people to come up to your table and look at shit if you've got, a ton of shit to look at? To sell him. Mike Ankus was kind of like that, which is kind of the first guy we talked to when we finally got to the mall.
Yeah, he was cool. He was really cool.
Yeah, well, I think that was like the first table we stopped at and talked to. I mean, he was telling us about the Box Arco Pitcairn zombie. He had some T-shirts there, and I think we ended up buying. That's who I ended up buying that Lightning Over Braddock Blu-ray for you from, and then you bought me the Gibbons beer can, which can be seen at the end of Dawn of the Dead. It's the stack of beer cans that Clayton Hill knocks over when he walks in
Yeah.
when they're going after Peter. But yeah, didn't have one of those. Pretty cool. Stukas Dive, what's up, man? Good to see you. Messa Savini still does cons because he gets trash bags full of money. I mean, does he though? Because I swear, I think at this point, the word is out on Tom, and I think a lot of people are just like iffy about meeting him because a lot of the times I just see him just sitting there by himself. Like, there's not, like, I'm sure there's some people that, you know, don't know yet, but I mean, like Robert, I mean, the first time you meet him, it's just kind of like, gee, I didn't expect him to be this harsh, but yeah, I don't know. Sin says he asked Tom a few things. He was cool about it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I've also heard that if you bring a hot chick to his table, Savini will light up and start, he'll really give you attention then. So I don't know. I missed this one. Loved Russ Griswold and Jerry Gurley. Yeah, you almost bought that at Jerry's table. He had it was like a real sculpted bust of Peter Cushing. You were
Yeah.
really thinking about
Yeah.
buying.
It's only $25. I was like, oh, I'll get it tomorrow. What was the first thing gone the next day? That Peter Cushing bus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you tried waiting until Sunday. What was it, Sunday? You tried waiting until Sunday, and then we got there and it
Yeah.
was gone. I told you,
Yeah.
man, never wait until Sunday to get something. And it's funny because while we were there, a lot of the trip you were talking yourself out of things. You were just like,
Yeah.
I don't need that. I'm like, dude, it's $25. It's hand sculpted, like it's not a 3D print or something like that. It was made by the fucking effects guy from Flesh Eater, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Get it? You're like, yeah, I'll come back, and then it was gone.
Yeah. I have
Yeah,
so
I
much
love
shit
bullshit.
though. I have so much shit though.
That's no excuse, Will. Come on. I do too, but that doesn't stop me. But so yeah, we get there. We finally get to the mall for the convention on Friday. Like I said, Mike Ankus was the first one we stopped and talked to. Then we run into who did we run into first? I think John Vulo. I think we ran into first and talked to him about, because he was the one that secured Sharon Carroll for the show, her first show. Which I guess we can go ahead and talk about Sharon Carroll. I don't remember. Did you get anything signed? I know you got a picture with her, didn't you?
No, I didn't get anything signed.
Did you get a picture with her?
I did get a picture with her, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got her to sign my little 11 by 17 Night of Living Dead poster. I don't have it handy, but yeah, just talking to John about how he came about finding her and contacting her and getting her to because she lives in Florida now, so they flew her up from Florida to come to the show. But just listening to him go into all the detail and every little aspect of what he had to do and tracking this woman down was like,
it was insane.
Yeah, like I respect that a whole lot. The time and effort that he put into, because I mean it's pretty damn cool. Because I mean she's kind of, kind of a big person. I mean she's on the poster. Like I had her signed by her. There's not a lot of zombies on the poster, so it's kind of a big gift. But she was so cool. Like she was so nice. She was having the time of her life. You could tell. I went up to her. It was Sunday before I went up to her. And I was talking to her, and just like, hey, did you ever expect that, you'd be here signing autographs and being a celebrity and all that? She was like, I had no idea. Like I knew it was kind of a cult thing, but I didn't think it was, this big. But everybody's so nice. And I was like, oh, you gonna come back next year? She was like, I'd love to. I'll come back every year. I'm like, awesome. So I was glad that she had a good time, because I think we kind of talked about this before. It's like when you get a new guest, like especially like older guests from Night and Dawn, you never really know how they're going to react to it. They're just because it was just something small that they did back in the day, and they had a little role as a zombie or something, and they probably just moved on with their life, never really thought about it again, and then 40, 50 years later, you got some crazy son of a bitch like John calling you and being like, hey,
Is
You
this
want
you?
to, yeah, you want to fly up for a weekend and make some money? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I was happy to see that she was having a good time with it though.
Yeah, she was really nice. She's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, what else did we do Friday? It's all such a fucking blur.
See, Friday. So we that is the night that so we walk around because we don't get any autographs at all Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We're just walking around. Oh, then after that, then we bump into Paul.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We was that, and then we talked to Bill Lasco for a while. I think was that Friday. I
Yeah,
think
that was
Paul was getting
Friday.
something signed.
Yeah.
Um, and he's a super nice guy too. He can you know talk. What was he talking about? Because I guess he worked on a movie with Toby Keith and
Yeah.
Willie Nelson or something. Beer for My Horses, I think it was. So we talked to him for a while, and I think that was when we met up with Synth.
Yeah.
Andy, we met up with him. He was going around with his camera. I think he was filming a panel when I first saw him. But he was going around. We were just kind of walking around because Fridays are usually the best time to kind of check out the convention. Just kind of see the layout, check the vendor booths. Um, uh, I stopped at, I think it was Orbit DVD was where I got these from. They're a nice little setup. They had some things that I wanted, so I ended up picking up Friday. Speaking of Tom Savini, the first thing I got was the
Yeah.
Blu-ray of Smoke and Mirrors, which I had to pick up because I didn't, because it's not on Shutter anymore, so I wanted to get the Blu-ray just to have it. I need to rewatch it. I've only seen it once. Have you seen Smoke and Mirrors?
I have, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely want to check rewatch that. So pick that up. And then I have City of the Have you seen City of the Living Dead? I don't
I have
remember.
not. Well, maybe parts of it, but I don't remember all of it. Maybe.
Maybe that'll be one that you need to watch because it's a really weird,
Yeah.
Fulci Italian zombie flick. But I got the Arrow 4K release of City of the Living Dead. They had that there, which I had it on Blu-ray, like the old. I think it was the Blue Underground release, but I felt like it was time to upgrade. And then I had to get something for the family, so picked up Cannibal Holocaust on Blu-ray from who put this out? Grindhouse, yeah, Grindhouse releasing. You've never seen Cannibal Holocaust either, have you?
I have not. No.
All right, we're gonna get together sometime soon. We're gonna have a good old time. We're gonna watch some Cannibal Holocaust because, like I said, it's one of those movies that it's fucking disturbing. You're never going to want to watch it again, but you'll understand that it's actually a really well-made movie. Like it's kind of the first found footage film before Blair Witch, before all that. It's really well made, but my God, the director of this actually ended up going to jail, got arrested because they thought that he actually killed these people in this fucking movie. He actually had to come to court and bring the actors with him to prove that they were dead. So yeah, fun for the whole family. Cannibal Holocaust. So I picked up those three while we were there.
I thought he was gonna haggle. I thought he would haggle, but he didn't.
Yeah, I tried to. I was like, hey, what kind of deal can you cut me on all three of those? And he's like, I can't cut you any deals. It's the fucking price. I'm like, all right, here you go. It's kind of shitty about it.
Yeah.
What are some other vendors? Did you remember?
The
I'll go ahead and show this off.
I was gonna say the chick that we met, who does the YouTube channel. I was telling her about the big box porn.
Oh yeah. What was her YouTube channel? Is
I got the little card. Like I said, all of my shit's still packed.
Yeah, you were talking to her more than I was. I don't really remember. I just remember she was. I can't remember the channel though. It was something like VHS related.
Yeah,
because you guys were talking about because you're a VHS kind of guy. Yeah, I can't remember what the hell that was called. I don't know, maybe we'll figure it out later. But as we were talking, I think we were standing kind of in the middle of the hall talking with Synth and Paul. And I looked out of the corner of my eye, and over at this booth over here on the right, I saw this piece of artwork.
Yeah.
It's George from night through dawn through day. Let's see if I can get a better close-up shot. There's a lot of glare on that, but I just saw that in the car. I was like, that's really fucking cool. So I ended up buying this for $15 off the guy. It's Adam Weaver is the name of the artist. Nightmare 1984. So look that up. I don't see. Oh, here we go. He gave me a card sticker too. Nightmare1984.com. Check it out. Yeah, I just really dug this. I'm just gonna frame it, put it up somewhere. I like the progression of George from night all the way through. I just thought it was really cool. I had fun talking to him for a few minutes while you guys were talking. So I just want to give him a quick shout out here on the channel. For you guys that are interested in artwork and fan art and shit like that, nightmare1984.com. Check that out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Let's see what happened next. I told you I'm gonna need help going through a series of events here.
So I kind of made an outline. I'm just trying to. We did stop by the golf table, briefly for a little bit, but then we stopped back on Sunday, which I have a story about that later. I don't really remember much of the vendors.
It's all a blur, man.
Yeah, it is a blur.
One thing that did happen Friday night, which was really fucking cool. There is a guy that I've heard about for many, many years. I've heard this name, Dave Burian. I've always heard stories of him just showing up at, Living Dead weekend with just his bag of goods. I've never seen any of it. And it's close to closing time. Everybody's kind of, packing up shop. And we're walking back where Larry's booth was next to Daniel Lowry, Doodles of the Dead. And then right next to that was Scott Kellaway, who plays, cosplays as Flyboy every year. He had his own booth this year. I mean, he's getting big time. He's got his own booth now.
Yep.
But sitting at his booth, there was a guy. I didn't catch his name, but he was sitting there with Dave, and they were looking at, I think, the trowel from Night of the Living Dead. And we just happened to stumble across it, and we were just like, and you had the perfect, my favorite quote, I think, of the whole trip is, we were like, hey, is it cool if we kind of check it out? Can we look at it? And he's like, yeah, he pulls out Savini's machete that Savini pulls out from his boot in Dawn of the Dead. He pulls out this machete from a towel, and it's like, this is the machete from Dawn of the Dead Savini had. And your response was, holy shit. like Flyboy on the Roof. It was just like, holy shit. And I think Dan was standing there. He's like, yep, that's the appropriate response for when you see something like that. So we got to look at and hold the trowel, the original trowel used in Night of the Living Dead, signed by all kinds of people. Keith Wayne,
that was impressive. I've never seen an autograph. Never seen that before.
I don't think I have either. Maybe not in person. Maybe on eBay at some point for like a shitload of money, but it's rare. And then he had the Savini machete that Blades uses in Dawn that he pulls from his boot. He also had the machete from Friday the 13th Part 4 that what's his fucking name? Corey Feldman, I guess, puts it in the side of Jason's head. And he also had the original comic book from Creepshow that they used for Creepshow. We got to hold. He wouldn't let us hold the comic book, which I don't blame him. I wouldn't let anybody hold that either. But we did get to hold and look at up close the machete and the trowel, and we were like a couple of kids.
Yeah,
it's just like, wow. It's like Indiana Jones with the fucking last, or not the last. What's the
Lost Ark?
yeah. What the fuck was he looking for in the Last Crusade?
The
Holy Grail. There you go. The Holy
Grail.
Grail. Yeah. I felt like Indiana Jones holding the Holy Grail. But then we talked to Dave for a little bit there. I mean, just super, super nice guy. What do you think of that? What do you think of Dave? Because I think Dave is really, really nice. And I think what he does is really, really cool, that he just shows up with this shit. And it's just like, hey guys, you want to look at this? Come check this out. Come
Yeah.
gather. Check this out.
He doesn't openly do it. Like you have to be in the right place at the right time. Sort of thing.
Yeah, you got to really. I think you have to appreciate it. You have to really appreciate it, because I think just like some fair weather fan of Dawn or something. It's like I saw Dawn of the Dead once a couple of years ago. It was cool. Let's go to the mall. It's like they would, they wouldn't be that interested in seeing it. Probably, I don't know, but I feel like if I was lucky enough to own this shit, like that's what I would do. Just kind of
Hell yeah, I would show it
bring
off
them.
like, ha ha. I'd probably put mine in epoxy, but I mean, I'm like, ha ha, here it is. Look what I got. You don't have it. Ha 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 ha.
You're a complete dick about it.
Yeah,
You're just like nobody can touch it. Don't even look at it.
no, but I think it is really cool that he does allow select few, or I don't know how many people actually got to hold it or look at it, but I mean, this is kind of cool that he does, because I remember him saying a lot of these collectors just take it and store it and it never sees the light of day again. So
Yeah, we talked about that. Just like some collect, like they'll just buy it because like we were talking with Dave about that, because Dave was talking about, he's like, there's just some collectors that just have so much money. They have all the money in the world and they'll just buy it just to have it, just as a dick measuring contest, just to be like,
Yep.
all right, I outbid you, now it's mine, and they put it in the closet, or it ends up, like I said, in Sean Clark's basement or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, Sean does show it off, but
yeah, well, because he's a fucking show off.
he's a hoarder.
He's a peacocking. Have you ever heard that Tony Moran's
Hey, I
rant
think
on Sean Clark? It's like
I haven't.
Sean Clark's always going around these conventions just peacocking. That's what I think of now. I think of Sean Clark. Sean Clark peacocking. Look what I got.
Yeah, I think Sean's pretty cool. I mean, just from his videos, I like his videos, but because he has a hell of a collection, it's like, oh wow, look at that,
Yeah, you can't. I mean, the dude's smart too. I mean, the dude figured out how to milk these conventions for all they're worth. And I don't mean that in a snarky way either, but I mean, he really he was smart about it. He was actually said he was one of the only ones that was like, hey, there's a market for this, and let's, he's helping a lot of these older, celebrities and stuff make money now. I mean, he's working with Ozzy and his family now. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy. But anyway, I don't want to get off on a Sean Clark tangent. He just rubs me the wrong way. I'm going to get into this because I've never really talked about it on this channel, and I don't give a fuck. He rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Some of the things he says, some of the way he talks to people sometimes, just, I don't know. I don't know if he means to come off that way, but sometimes it comes off that way a little bit.
Well, an old buddy of mine, used to be like, before Sean Clark became Sean Clark. He said that Sean Clark was, man, really down to earth and was really outgoing, but then, here comes Norman Reedus and it just changed everything.
Yeah, it's just like, don't get me wrong, Tony Moran is a fucking insane human being. So I'm not backing, but I do see what he means when he says he's peacocking. Because then I saw Sean Clark on a podcast talking about oh yeah, and then I used to go up and down the aisle when people were waiting in line for Norman Reedus. I'd just be going around and just pointing to each one and be like, that's $60, that's $60, because that's how much I was making off each of these people. I'm like, well, that's kind of a dick move. Yeah. I mean, you don't gotta say that or do that,
He made tons and tons of money off of Norman.
Yeah,
still does. I mean,
that's how he can afford Corey Feldman's underwear now. So
yeah.
Did he end up buying all the Lost Boys jackets?
He did
at one point?
He did, but they fucked around and didn't give him the certificate of authenticity. So
yeah, I remember seeing that stream. He was going on about that.
Still, like I said, given it. Yeah,
I don't hate the guy or anything. I don't know. Some of the things he says rubs me the wrong way. Anywho,
tell me how you really feel.
Fuck him. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Let me catch up on comments. Let's see. Robert says he felt like a tourist attraction. No shit, asshole. You're begging for autograph. Yeah, kind of. I'm talking about Tom Savini, I think. Sid says his trick was to catch Tom in the hallways, not at the table. Like I said, that's your best bet is to catch him outside of that.
Excuse me, before you go, Pete, can I ask you a question?
Sure. What? Yeah. Matt saying a lot cooler if you have a female. I told you you should have dressed in drag, and we may have gotten
Yeah.
something out of there. 1911 Guitar Dude, what's up, man? Good to see you, Brett. Sounds like it was a great convention. I hope I can finally make it next year. Fingers crossed for a Day of the Dead 40th anniversary lineup. I can almost guarantee you that next year is going to be a Day of the Dead reunion. But yeah, hopefully you do get to make it out, man. I'd love to finally meet you. This is the guy that won the Creep Show Steelbook contest when I was running the.
Yeah.
Let's see. I told you I'm not a dick. Nah, you're a good man, Robert. You're a good man. See, Grande says Orbit DVD rules. I got the Battle Royale 2-disc standard 4K and Rabid Dogs from Kino from them this past week. Yeah, I mean they had a great selection. Like I said, that's why I ended up spending almost $80-something at their table. They had a lot to choose from. But yeah, I wish they would have, maybe tried. I think if I would have gone back on like Sunday or something, maybe I'd have had a better shot. Because a lot of those people are just trying not to pack as much home, which we'll talk about in a minute with the Garf table. They were just giving shit away.
Literally. I got so much shit for $10.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got something.
I'll hold off to the end.
Fucking crazy for $10.
Actually five.
Yeah. You spun the wheel. You made the deal. Grande says Cannibal Holocaust 11 out of 10. I agree. I mean, it is. It's a brutal fucking movie, and you're watching it. And I mean, for an older movie, like a lot of the times, like I've seen so many movies, and I know how movies are made and stuff. Like I can kind of see like how they did certain things, like effects wise and stuff. But you can't see through it. Like it really looks like they fucking killed people on this fucking thing. It's crazy. I don't know if I want you to watch it. I might scar you for life, and you'll hate me forever.
As long as it ain't Michael Jackson's Thriller, I'm okay.
See, Matt, I know you're big City of the Living Dead fan. City of the Living Dead is my favorite Fulci. Been to all the locations in Savannah, Georgia. Awesome shit. Yeah, I've seen seen your pictures there from those locations. I think it's interesting that they shot it in Georgia. Fulci in Atlanta.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute, an Italian film shot in the United States?
Well, Fulci had a thing for the South too, because I think The Beyond is also like set in New Orleans, I think. So I don't know. Fulci had a thing for the South. New York for Zombie. Zed talking about Zombie here. Grani says it's in his top 10 ever. Because he's talking about Cannibal Holocaust. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a groundbreaking film. The main documentary guy in it was the shoe keeper in Debbie Does Dallas. Oh, from Cannibal Holocaust. I didn't know that. A lot of comments. I'm backed up here. Okay, Sid says he did a full body 3D scans of Scott Boy and Boy Zombie. We'll post the online 3Ds to explore, rotate, and we'll eventually print and send Scott figures. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah, me too. That was really cool.
Also did the Romero bust. Quite a few things. We got a lot to talk about here, so I'm gonna try to skip through some of these real quick. Robert says I saw a 1993 video of Sean Clark nerding out at the mall, so fuck him.
He saw it in all its glory.
Yeah, I've seen that video too. Yeah, I'll say fuck him just because I'm jealous. I'd have loved to have visited the mall in '93, but unfortunately, I would have been like 5 at the time. So.
And he got to go into the basement and the rooftop.
Yes, that's something we still need to figure out a way to do. I don't know.
Larry, come on, man. Larry, come on.
Yeah, Larry, if you're out there, hook us up, man. Hook us up. I'm giving you guys all this free publicity for fucking Living Dead weekend. The least you can do is get us on the roof.
Yeah, right. A VIP party or something, man.
Instead, we had to drive. We had to be the designated driver. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Anything else? Anything else for Friday?
Well, I mean, besides that was pretty much, we just practically walked around, talked to everybody, and sit outside and talk to Andy for, like I said, 3 hours. I mean, it was mostly y'all doing the whole like music thing, and I'm just like, I'm ignorant when it comes to music. So,
what was that guy's name from Wales that walked up?
I don't remember. Like, I got that written down here, but I never got his name.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got his name either, but he was really cool. We were just, like I said, this was Saturday. We were just kind of
No,
standing.
no, it was Friday.
No, it was Saturday because that was also the night of the VIP party.
Okay, then I got my days all mixed up. What did we do Friday? Oh, I remember what we did.
Yeah,
Okay.
Friday.
Because we were at, so we kind of like hung out in the back a little bit past like 8 o'clock. I don't
Yeah,
think we
because
left
that's when we
until
were
like,
looking at the Dave Burian
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah. We didn't leave the mall until like 9 or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. They were kicking us out. They were like, "All right, you guys got to get the fuck out." But on
Was
the
it
way
was that
out,
the that was the
that
same night that we crashed the tour?
yeah, Larry was coming up on the end of his tour, and we just kind of tagged along because we didn't know. We thought maybe like, oh, maybe he's still got to go to the
Mm-hmm.
staircase or something. Like maybe he won't notice. But no, it was like right at the end of the tour. That was like the last couple of stops of his tour, and then I ended up in the group photo and stuff. And there was a guy there dressed up cosplaying as George Romero that looked fucking fantastic. On the front, I was like, split second, shit, George is here, and I was like, no, he's not here. Oh, here. Am I here?
There
Can you
you
hear
go.
me?
Yeah,
All
you're
right,
good.
sorry.
You're good. You're good.
But so yeah, we ended up crashing the end of Larry's tour and took the photo. And then as everybody's dispersing and talking and stuff, I actually ended up meeting Larry's wife for the first time. And she is really fucking cool. Like I really enjoyed meeting her and talking to her for the first time. I
Yeah,
think did she say that was her first time coming
I
to a
think
Living
so.
Dead weekend?
I think it was.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I think that was her first time on the tour. Because I think she was
Mm-hmm.
helping Larry on the tour this year. So yeah, we just hung out outside the mall, talked to Margaret, Larry's wife, a little bit, and then after that, I think we left, and that's when I took you downtown for your first trip to Permane Brothers.
Yes, I had that written down here. Yeah, for Anthony's.
So, what are your thoughts on Permane Brothers? I tell everybody this all the time. If you go to Pittsburgh, you got to stop at Permane Brothers. And I specifically, and this is funny too. I mean, we were fucking lost as a motherfucker because I didn't know which Permane Brothers to go to. I could not remember the name of the street to save my life. So we ended up going to like driving to like 2 or 3 different Permane Brothers. Like, nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not the one. So we were driving all over fucking downtown Pittsburgh until we finally ended up down at the Strip District. But what are your thoughts on Permane Brothers? Fan?
It was very good. It was really good. I didn't really care for the coleslaw because being from the South, that's not coleslaw. That's just like wet cabbage that they have up there.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was like, let me just put that on the side because you can't just eat coleslaw with everything. But yeah, it was great. The bread was amazing. I think the bread was probably the best part.
I know you kept talking about the bread. You were just like, this bread is really, really good. I think they bake it fresh every day. But yeah, I had an Iron City, had a sandwich. I mean, and that place was packed. I mean, it was bum. It was like what, 11, 12 o'clock at night before we got down
Yeah,
there?
literally,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about 11 o'clock. So yeah, hit up Permane Brothers. I think that was the first and only thing we ate all day. I think by the time we got to Permane Brothers, it was like, then we hit up a few bars after that and went back to the hotel room, called it a night. I don't know. Anything else I'm leaving out on Friday?
No, I mean we went to that little skee ball bar. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
what was that place called? I can't remember what that was called.
I don't either, but it was so cool.
It was a weird vibe too, because it was the bar, because you would think like, oh, a bar with like skee ball and shit. It's like, oh, there's gonna be some trashy like Dave and Buster's type shit here. But it was actually like a pretty like chill little bar. Like it was kind of nice. And they had like you said, skee ball and like putt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Putt Shack. Wasn't that what it was called?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yes,
Putt Shack, yeah.
Strip District right across from Randy Brothers. But yeah, that was a pretty chill little place. We just stopped in there, and just kind of walked around Strip to see what was up. Nothing else was really open though down in that area.
No.
What was the name of that other bar we went to?
The one that the P Town.
P Town, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. It was like what that guy said. There's a drag one in there biting people. Was that what it was?
Yeah, he's like, we come in, he's like, oh, just let you know, there's an old queen in there, fucking biting people. I'm like, okay. I think we met that old fucker too. That was fun.
Yeah.
Ended up hanging out with smoking. There was some lesbians there. We were showing pictures of our children to each other. That was fun.
Well, they were
But yeah,
speaking British,
yeah, there was one broad from Tennessee, I think.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, hey, we're from Kentucky. We speak the same language. So like, oh, so
What she
um,
say? She said, "Do y'all speak what was it, like wheelbarrow or
yeah, it was something like that.
it was some kind of weird, like, y'all banjo? Do you speak banjo? Is that what it was?"
Yeah, yeah. And she said something I didn't understand. So I was like, I guess not. I don't know what
I
you're
was like,
talking about.
"No, that's Eastern
Uh,
Kentucky. That's Appalachia.
yeah, you're a little
That's
too
some
far
holler.
east.
Yeah, that's hollers and shit."
Um, but yeah, that was fun. Then we left. Then I think we just went back to the hotel room after that and just kind of hung out.
That was Friday,
So,
and then we watched Lightning over Braddock when we got back, right? Or no, that was Thursday. Never mind. Sorry.
yeah, I think we
The
did that
days are running.
Thursday.
Yeah, the days are running together. Sorry.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'm
Oh,
telling you, I tried to write it all down. I was like, what
yeah,
day did this happen? It's a blur.
yeah. I think we said it till like 4 a.m. that morning.
Yeah, yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the hell. I think we just fucking sitting there talking and fucking laughing, cutting up until we fucking just passed out. I
Yeah,
think I
literally.
remember we were just like talking. I would say something, and you would say something, and then eventually I'd say something, and then you didn't say anything. I was like, okay, he's asleep. I guess I'm going to sleep too. Uh,
Literally passed out. Literally.
yeah, literally. Um, and then Saturday we get up. I think the first thing we did, we went to Braddock. I took you to Braddock. What did you think of Braddock?
Well, I had been to Braddock before, and I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. But like, I mean, compared to what it looked like before, I mean, it's kind of on the up and up again. So, I mean, some of it was still pretty fucking poor. I mean, run down. I shouldn't say poor. You can't say poor anymore. But
You're gonna get me canceled.
yeah,
Economically distressed.
yeah,
Come on.
very, yeah. It was pretty sad. But then we saw the new build, and we were like, oh, maybe this is hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, because I was there, I think I went there in October last time I was up there. And I always usually kind of drive through Braddock, but it does seem like there's some new developments going on there, some new stuff that they're putting up. Where the
Mhm.
hospital used to be, there's like these really nice looking apartments there now. They were doing some construction work on some of the roads that go through there. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it's being gentrified a little bit or something. I don't know. But well, we drove by the Martin house, and there was there was a lady on the front porch that was just
You're
staring
right.
at us while we were. And I thought about this in hindsight. I was like, we should have fucking stopped
We should have.
and just said, hey, did you know that your house was in the movie? And then maybe she would be like, oh, come on in and look around. And I'd be like, oh, because I mean, who knows what it looks like now? But I mean, that is the house
Right.
where they shot the movie. I mean, that was the Buba house. That's where the Bubas grew up. Um, but we just kind of drove by. I don't want to be too suspicious. And lady
Yeah.
sitting on the front porch staring, like, why are they driving so slow and staring at my house? But we saw that, and then I had never been to the Santini house from Martin, Mrs. Santini, the house that Martin delivers the meat to, and then she ends up driving him back to town. Never been to that house, and that house looks pretty much exactly the same, other than the shutters, because
Yep.
we were looking at that scene when we were there, and everything looks pretty much fucking same, except the shutters have been removed. Um, and that's like that was up like what Braddock Hills, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It
a
was.
little bit outside
Yeah.
of that.
Which is where Tony Buba said that he lived, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Tony Buba still lives in Braddock. They're Braddock Hills now, which is basically like right outside of Braddock. It's not that far. Um, what do we do after that? I don't remember.
Uh.
We went to the airport.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Do we want to tell this story, or do we want to wait until possibly the statute of limitations runs out on certain
Um.
things?
I mean, I don't know. I. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I will say I got a brand new socket set, Craftsman socket set from Lowe's. I got a new pair of vice grips, some really really nice vice grips, and a pair of bolt cutters.
Yep. Yep.
We did get that on Saturday,
Yep.
but we did
Look
go
at
out to the airport.
yeah.
We just kind of looking around, seeing if there's anything left. Because when I was there in October, I just thought it was all just gone. Like I thought it
Mhm.
had just been bulldozed. Even back to last summer, I thought it was all bulldozed, all gone. But there's still, I mean, they still had the fencing up that that was there. You can still see some of the concrete from where the helicopter lands near the gas pumps. Do you want to just tell
Yeah,
fuck it
might as
like
well. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
one all right. So we go out, we're just looking for little pieces of the building or something, just little artifacts to take home. And we found like a couple of pieces of the brick from the building. You could tell because the brick was painted. So it was obviously we found some glass, little pieces of glass but for the most part, we didn't see much. And of
Part,
course they have. Oh, go
part
ahead.
of the part. I was gonna say part of the gas pump is still there.
That's right. So the landing area where the gas pumps were is still there. They haven't bulldozed that all up, and you can still see like part of the gas pump that was still there. When we were working pretty hard to try to pull that out of the ground, but I don't think that was
Yeah.
going to happen. That had to be
No.
connected to something else.
You just
They had
don't
it all
think about.
fenced off, but we were just like, fuck it, we're rebels. We'll do what we want to do, and so we go in, and then some other people that showed up to check out
Yeah.
the airport.
Yeah, Tina. She's. I can't remember where she's from. But she's a big Jaws fan.
Oh, and you hate Jaws.
Yeah. I don't. It's awful. It's so much unnecessary dialogue and just like that 30 minutes while they're out there on the sea. It's like you don't really need all that dialogue.
Wow, I couldn't believe you said that.
Yeah.
You hate Jaws. That's so weird. Like I don't love it. Like it's not one of my like all-time favorite movies or anything. But I do like when I do watch it once every few years, I do appreciate it. But okay, yeah. So I've met the one only person that hates Jaws, but I respect that because I hate a lot of shit that people are just like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever, and I'm just like, no, it sucks. The fuck is that? Hold on.
Probably a tick.
Yep, there's a. And I've been thinking about that ever since.
No.
Like I said, I mowed my yard. There we go. Fucker. I mowed my yard the other day, and as soon as I stopped, I was just like, I just felt like I was crawling with ticks again.
Ah.
But so yeah, they come by, they were looking, we're just like, all right, we're not finding anything out here. Then I realized, I was like, holy shit. They still had signs up from the airport. There were two signs there. One was a crew and passengers beyond this point only sign, which is the sign that I remember looking at and being like, man, I really want that. But I thought it was gone because I thought when they bulldozed everything down, I was like, well, surely that's gone too. Like everything's gone. And what was the other sign? It was like
The Monroeville or the airport this way or something like that.
yeah, it says something about the air. So it still had two signs there on this fencing that was still up from when the airport was still up. And I looked at Will looked at me, and I said, fuck it. Let's go let's make a trip to Lowe's. So we go to Lowe's, I pick up a socket set and a pair of vice grips. I was like, oh, this will definitely do it. I'm like, yeah, it's you were like, I don't know, man, it's pretty rusted on there. Like, I don't know if these are I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. We can get it off. So we run. And this is Saturday, so in my back of my mind, I'm like, we got to get to the convention, or I'm gonna miss out on Tony Buba again because I missed him last year, and I'm gonna fucking kill myself if I miss him again. Because this was the only day that Buba and John Rice was gonna be there, so those were like the two big ones that I wanted to get that day. But I was like, but you know what? Like, I'm determined now. Like, I never thought that this sign would still be here, and I want this fucking thing. So we go to Lowe's, we buy the tools, we come back. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get this sucker off. Fucker will not budge. Like, no matter what we're doing, I'm like, dude, hold these vice grips here, and I'm gonna do this, and nothing. Like, you ended up like fucking cutting your finger. You gotta, still there. You go. It's like a little blood blister. Like, it looks worse, and I guess it is, but yeah. So we're working on this thing, and it's just not coming. I'm sweating my ass off. I'm being attacked by bees. Like, it's not going well at all, and I'm just like ready to give up. I'm just lighting a cigarette, and I'm just looking defeated. I'm like, fuck this, we're getting this off, and I'm trying again. And then before we know it, here comes a car through the back way. And as we're working on this car's coming back, and Will, I think your exact words were, "Fuck, we're caught." And you just stopped, and your shoulder slumped, and you just walk off, and you're just like, "Fuck, we're caught." I was like, "Oh, let's just." I just keep going. I'm just like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm fixing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But luckily, it turns out it was a guy that was just there by happenstance. He was just there to check out and see, like, because he pulls up, and it was like, I guess he had like an Australian accent or something like that.
Yeah.
What did he say? He was just
He's
like,
like,
"Oh."
he was like, hey, isn't this where they made that movie, Dawn of the Dead? And we were like, yeah, for sure, yeah.
I'm sure he was wondering what the fuck was going on because we were just standing. I had tools in my hands, sweating, and we're just standing there looking, just like defeated. And he's just like, "What the fuck is going on out here? What are these guys up to?" Um, and so yeah, he was just like, "Oh yeah, this is where they shut the movie." I'm like, "Yeah, Dawn of the Dead," And he's just like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love that movie, man. It's a good movie, And Return of the Living Dead, is that shot here?" I'm like, "No, not really, but whatever. Can you just?" I'm frustrated and I don't feel like being a tour guide. Like you talked about earlier, when you got to the mall and the guy was like, "Hey, you want a tour?"
Yeah.
I was not in the mood. I was just like, I'm trying to get this fucking sign off no matter what. But he was cool. He was nice, and he didn't even know that the convention was going on. We actually hipped him to that. He was just like,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're in town for Living Dead weekend over in Monroeville at the Monroeville Mall," and he was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, you didn't know there's a convention going on for Dawn of the Dead and all that stuff." And he's just like, "Oh, wow, okay. Well, I guess I'll stop by and check that out." Anyway, so eventually, and you had actually said like from the beginning, like, "Why don't we just get some fucking bolt cutters and just?" But I was like, me being me, I was like, "I can get this fucker. I can get this off." Wasn't happening. And
Nope.
finally, I agreed, and I was like, "Let's get this." We
We
drove
tried.
to we drove to Harbor Freight, bought a pair of bolt cutters for $12, went back out there, snip, snip, snip. 30 minutes
2 minutes.
later, yeah,
Yep.
we're out of there.
That took us all of 3 hours to do.
Yeah, so I got the crew passengers only beyond this point sign. It's in rough shape, but it's from the airport. It's my one last thing to remember it by. Although I do keep it in the garage because I realized once I got it home that there was a spider nest between. Let's see if we can see it.
Oh my god, I didn't think. Oh no.
I don't know if you can see it, like right up there in the crack.
Yeah.
Between this bar, yeah, there's like a spider's nest. So hopefully that doesn't, hatch. While
Oh my god.
This might be a.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I might edit this part out later if certain people say, because like I said, I had a dude one time that was just like, "Oh, fuck you, like why are you at the airport? It's not yours," and all this. I'm like, "Dude, it's trash. Like they're just gonna throw this shit out anyway." So
Right. It's all abandoned. I mean, they were gonna tear it down eventually anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah, it's not like it's not like anything that's going to be reused. I mean, it's just literally going in the trash. So, but yeah, that was a fun way to spend 2 hours.
More like 3 actually.
Yeah, between like driving back and forth from the airport to
Lowe's, back to the airport, back to Harbor Freight. Then we got lost finding Harbor Freight. Then we're like, "Oh shit, where's Harbor Freight at?"
I swear to God, I've never been as lost on a trip to Pittsburgh as I was this year. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Check. Hurst says, "Alpha, do you know the lineup for Living Dead Weekend next year?" No, but like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a pretty safe bet that it's going to be a Day of the Dead 40th anniversary reunion, or possibly a Land of the Dead 20th anniversary. I don't know who all they would get from that, really, though.
Matt Blasey. Only the first I can think of.
Yeah. Felsher's in it. Mike Felsher's in it. Sean Roberts, I think I've seen him do some conventions lately. But shit, it's 1985. I mean, there's so many great horror films that came out in 1985. I mean, you could do a Reanimator reunion. I mean, if you really want to do another Return of the Living Dead reunion, I mean, we've already done that. So, I mean, 85 is a crazy. I mean, I think me and Grande talked about that, and we did the Day of the Dead retrospective of all just the crazy amount of movies that came out in 85. Good horror movies. Since the Romero cosplayer was on our tour Friday night, you guys took photos. Yep. He's at like front and center on the ground. I wish I would have got that guy's name. I took a picture with him, but I never didn't ask his name. I was just like, "You're George Romero to me. Let's take a
Yeah.
picture." As it says, there was a 12-year-old dressed as George. I complimented, and he was a dick. But Permanis was the shit. Okay. I'm sorry that 12-year-old was a dick to you. I think I know who you're talking about. I want to say it was last year, maybe, that kid was there. Cressy777, what's up, man? Why in the world George Romero is buried in Canada? Well, I mean, that's where he lived at the time. He kind of became a Canadian citizen at the end of his life there. So, I don't know.
Basically, where he made the last 4 of his films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once he left Pittsburgh, Canada was kind of his home. I'd love to visit his grave at some point, but I don't know. Do you have your passport?
No, but I can get one ASAP.
Yeah. But yeah, you got the hookups and the connections, the government connections there. But yeah, I'd love to travel up to. I mean, I don't know locations wise. I mean, I'd maybe the house from Bruiser or something. I don't know, but I'd love to just go there.
I think they shot Dawn of the Dead 2004 there, right? I think. Do you watch Scott on Tape?
No, I watch what?
Scott on Tape. He's another like film location.
I don't guess so. No, that doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, he's from Canada, and he does a lot of Canada stuff. So there's all kinds of stuff in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, they shot, especially in like the 2000s, they shot a lot of shit in Canada.
Like Trailer Park Boys.
That was crazy to me when I first saw that, and I was like, "Oh, this is Canada," because it seems like Kentucky. It looks like Hoptown.
I passed by there earlier.
How is it doing?
Yeah, same shit.
So not very well.
No. Since
I was looking at my brick and glass pieces from the old airport now. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we hooked synth up with some. I think we gave a couple other people a couple other pieces of brick, and which, I mean, to some people it's just like you're giving me trash, but that's what I said. When you go to Living Dead weekend, you go to Pittsburgh and you're meeting all these like-minded people, like they're going to be like, holy shit, thanks for this piece of brick. It's from the airport.
I love sharing it. Like, I love sharing everything. I mean, the last time that I went to the airport, I got so much shit. I mean, I get it all in mason jars.
Yeah. Hey, you just bag it up, put it on a table, sell it for $100 or whatever. Hirsch says, hope it's Day of the Dead. Definitely check it out next year. Yeah, I mean, I'm 99% sure that there's going to be a Day of the Dead theme next year.
There's not really a lot of people left for that.
Yeah, I mean, you have Laurie, you'll have Terry Alexander, Jarlath Conroy, Anthony DeLeo. But Greg. Yeah, I mean,
Greg.
Yeah, Greg Nicotero, Tom, of course. But yeah, it sucks. Joe Pilato and Gary Clark. A lot of those guys. Yeah. Let's see. Matt says, I remember that guy giving you shit. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah. Talking about the fucking airport. I'm pretty sure most of us snagged a piece or two because we knew it was getting bulldozed. Yeah. I can't even think of the name of that guy. It was like Crump or something like that. But yeah, I remember he's just like, how dare you? This is vandalism and trespassing and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, fuck off.
Go eat a dick.
Yeah, really. Eat it all. What better place to keep the things safe than the hands of the fans who will cherish them? Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I mean, and like I said, it's fucking trash. Like, to 99% of the population, it's just trash. But for that 1%, that's just like, I'm gonna put this in a glass case. Like, why not?
I was really digging for shit at that airport. I mean,
I
was on it.
Yeah, we were out there for quite a while before we came across those signs. Because we were looking everywhere. And then it was cool as we were driving up, there was a helicopter flying overhead, and I think you got that.
Yep, I did. I got that. That was pretty cool. I think Paul got one same helicopter flying over the mall.
Oh, really?
I think I saw that one of his photos.
Fucking helicopters everywhere. Since says the Dawn remake was partly made in Wisconsin. Yeah, I think that sounds right. But I do remember part of that being in.
I thought it happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Wisconsin.
I don't know. Fuck that movie.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, at the time, it was the best thing next to a remake that we were gonna get. So I was like, I went and watched it opening night.
Yeah, I did too. Me and my dad went to see it. That was back when me and my dad would go see it. Which, speaking of, Happy Father's Day to everybody out there, all the fathers. We had some family over today, and we had a little pool party. So I'm a little red. I got a little color. I'm so white it doesn't take very much before I'm fucking crispy.
You're glow in the dark white.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the Lord said, "Let there be light," and I took my shirt off. So after that, after we left, we got our shit, went to the mall, and we were, I don't know about what time was this. I mean, I was in a panic because I was like, fuck, I missed Tony Buba again because I couldn't find him in any hall. I was like, where's Tony Buba? Where's Tony Buba?
Yeah, that was the first person we went looking for was Tony Buba.
Yeah, because like I said last year, Tony was at the 40th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead, and I saw him Friday. But kind of like this year, I used Friday as a day to just kind of look around, check the vendors out, scope it out, see where everybody was. I thought he was going to be there all weekend. Then he wasn't. He was gone Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, oh, heartbroken. So I knew he was going to be there Saturday only. So I get there. I'm looking around. I'm looking frantically, just like, oh, fuck, where's he at? Where's he at? We're going from hall to hall. Finally, I see him, and I just look at him. I'm just like, Tony Buba, I finally found you. And he was just like, hey. And I guess Larry had told him about me. I think Larry was probably like, hey, I think your biggest fan is here. I'm like, yeah. So we stopped, talked to Tony for a while. We talked to Tony for probably a good 30 minutes or so, I think. Just talking about his movies. You asked him about Sweet Sal. You asked him, is Sweet Sal a real guy, or is it just a performance? Is it an act? And he's like, no, that was Sal. So yeah, that was... He was telling stories about Sal. He's like, oh, Sal loved Quaaludes back in the day. I'm like, it's like I would love to find some of those these days. But yeah, just talk to Tony about what he was working on, and he gave me, what the fuck I did with it. But he gave me a Blu-ray of his movie that he did with Tom Dubinsky a few years back on trying to save the hospital from Braddock, the Braddock Hospital, which they've torn down since. And you can actually see that hospital in Martin. It's in the background when they're at the Giant Eagle grocery store. So yeah, finally talked to Buba, got a picture with him. He asked me to check out the movie. He wants me to email him, and I guess he's going to send me some shit that he's working on now, because he's talking about doing Thunder over Braddock. And his whole concept of having an AI Sweet Sal looking over.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What did he say? He was just like, look at these motherfuckers, and they're put me in this fucking cheap ass casket. I was like, I could totally see that. It'd be perfect. So yeah, I was really, really, really happy to finally meet Tony Buba, and I got him to sign my Dawn Green Letter 1 sheet, along with the booklet from the Blu-ray from Lightning Over Braddock.
I think you were probably his favorite patron over the weekend.
I hope so. I didn't ask him anything about Dawn of the Dead or anything like that.
Nothing at all.
I was just like, I just wanted to talk about J. Roy and Steve Pellegrino.
No, he did mention about how he got the sombrero, though. Remember?
Yeah, but I think I remember hearing him. Did he mention that while we were talking to him?
Or maybe was it the
panel?
Maybe that was the panel. Like I said, all of it's still running together a little bit.
Yeah, because I think I remember hearing that at the panel, because he was doing a panel, because I think Synth was recording it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I mean, he was recording everything that weekend. I need to hire him to just be my documentarian, because I'm fucking terrible at that shit. But yeah, he basically didn't. What did he say? No, I think he did tell us at the table too that he just kind of came across it at a store in
because
Braddock.
he wanted to stand out. Remember?
Right? Yeah. He wanted to make sure that everybody could see that it was him, so he got this big ass sombrero. But yeah, couldn't be a nicer guy. Just totally cool. Then we met. The next guy on the list was John Rice. Yes. And that was really cool, because John, as soon as we walked to his stable, he was just like, all right, you guys want a story?
Please. Yeah.
Go ahead. Please do tell. And it turns out, like, I was very surprised. Not surprised, but I was I never knew this, that the guy, I think he's only in the extended cut of Dawn at the beginning when they're, when they get to the tenement and the SWAT, and it's just like, looks like they're really going to try to fight us. That's actually John Rice's dad, Joe Rice. Because I remember the commentary, I think Tom Savini or somebody was like, isn't that John Russo? And they're like, no, that's not John Russo. And they're like, I don't know who that is. But it's actually John Rice's dad. So Joe Rice. So we'll have to go to IMDb and put that in there and give him a credit for that.
Oh yeah, that'd be Sonic Al to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we ran into Sonic Al as well.
But the funny thing about that was like how he said that, when he would tell stories about, working on Dawn, how he was giving George directions,
Yeah. His dad was like, yeah, I told George it would turn out better if I said it that way, and then you were trying to figure out where this damn tenement was originally, because it's been 20 months since. Did you get any closer to any kind of clarity?
No, I didn't. It's like that's just one thing that I want to find out, because Larry, in a letter that has directions, I think Larry has a letter that has directions onto the actual filming location of the tenement scene, but then Dubinsky said, no, it happened over here, and I want to get to the bottom of it. Like, I just need to know. I just need to know.
Yeah, John Rice was pretty much saying like Dubinsky was right. Like they were kind of pointing in the same direction. And Dubinsky, I mean, I remember hearing, didn't you ask him about that again? When John was talking to him about that shot where you can see George on the side. And he said, what else is there that he kind of pinpoints as like this is...
So there was no electricity, so they needed electricity. And the only place that had electricity was that little community center place.
Right.
And so that's because George had to have coffee, so they needed a plug-in for coffee for sure. So the only place it could have been at was at the community center. That's the only place that had electricity. So I mean, that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean that kind of checks out. I mean, if both him and John Rice are both kind of in agreement on that, and that he can pinpoint that community center, I think that pretty much checks out. But
I mean, there's proof elsewhere too. So I don't think this will ever be solved.
Maybe not. Maybe that'll be a project. We need to officially solve this. And who the hell that woman is at the beginning of Dawn of the Dead that says you're still dreaming? Nobody knows who the fuck she is, because I asked John Rice. I think I asked John that too. I was like, "Do you know who that is?" He's like, "I have no idea." It's like, and he was like part of like casting,
Right? Like, how do you not know?
I should have asked. Well, no, I think Synth actually asked Amplis. I think Synth said he asked Amplis that if he knew who that was, and Amplis didn't know who the fuck that was either. And Amplis was part of casting, so I don't know who would know. Maybe Galen. I wonder if Galen would know, because I mean they share the scene together or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Those are two big mysteries to me right now. But yeah, John was super cool. Got him to sign. Got him to sign a photo for Matt. Just sent that out today. Then I had him sign my Dawn poster. We went to Larry's table and bought these 8x10s.
Yeah, I love.
Didn't get him to sign it, but I just love this photo of it's Mike Gornick, Tom Dubinsky there in the back, and then John Rice right there in the front. I just think it's a great photo. I just wanted to have it, and Larry was selling them for like $1, so I think you ended up getting like one of each.
Yeah.
But
that's one thing. That's one thing I don't have a lot of. Is like a lot of on-set photos.
Yeah. I find myself buying more and more of those here lately. Like that's one of the big things I buy on eBay, because A, they're fairly cost effective, and like they're pretty cheap. But B, like, they're cool to have. Like I just like to look at them and study them and see like who's in this photo, and it's just, you see a lot of shit you never noticed before. So yeah, me, John Rice. I guess we're getting. Well, then I met. I want to show these off real quick too. Met up with friend of the channel, Ben Gebhardt.
Oh yeah,
and he brought me.
Yeah.
He picked these up. He actually went to the Mahoning Zombie Fest screening, that took place like a few weeks before this, or maybe like the week before, May 23rd through 26th. Um, but yeah,
If I could have had anything all weekend besides this thing that I have next to me, it would have been that. I would love to get my hands on something like that.
that's so cool. He
Yeah.
gifted this to me. I mean, I would have loved to have been there. I mean, just that lineup. That 4 day. Well, I'd probably skip Thursday.
Yeah.
The fucking Dawn remake, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd have been there. I'd have hung out for that one. But yeah, got me an event poster from that, as well as this
That's oh man, I love that.
35 millimeter screening, Night of the Living Dead from 2020, September 29th, 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. But I love this artwork.
Me too. It's classic.
It's just so cool. So yeah, he hooked me up with a couple of posters. So big shout out to you, Ben. I really, really appreciate that. It was cool talking to you as well. Talking about fatherhood. Speaking of Father's Day, happy Father's Day to you, man. Tomorrow, we're talking about how you develop that dad strength. And I swear to God, I mean, it's a true story. The first time you're holding, I mean, you think it's a baby. It's a fucking 8-pound baby, and you're holding it. Something just like mom were fucking dead after like 10 minutes of holding that baby for the first time. But it's never hurt since. So I don't know. That's the dad strength coming in. So, but yeah, good seeing you, man. I'm glad you stopped. I think he ended up leaving. I think we hung out with him in the parking lot as he was heading out because he only lives like 4 hours from there. I think he said.
Yeah, I think we did talk to him for a while too. So we talked to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the thing about fucking that whole weekend. Just a lot of we just run into people and just start talking. It was like, Cressy says, "Video Dead 1987 made it to Blu-ray recently. Have you seen it in any convention?" I haven't. That's one. I promise you, Cressy. I will check that out when I come across it, and I'll do a review. I'll let you know about it because I've actually heard since you actually mentioned it, I've heard some other people talking about it and actually saying like, "Hey, it's actually a pretty good movie." So I'm actually kind of interested in checking it out.
I think that streams on Tubi. I think.
Is it on Tubi?
I think.
Have you seen it before?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, probably not.
I know I remember the box art because I remember the zombie crawling out of the TV or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Then it's the one on Tubi. It was streaming. It was streaming on Tubi. I'm very selective about my horror, so there's a lot of horror that I haven't seen.
Me too, unless that's like a high recommendation from somebody I trust. Since Tony was super friendly, he told me the story about biker outfit in the hallway and the sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think the jacket that he's wearing in Dawn of the Dead is his dad's, I think. But then he said it was his father's military jacket, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm wrong. Hurst, good to see you in here tonight, man. I appreciate it. Time for the graveyard shift. Good night, Alpha and Will. Have a great, happy Father's Day weekend. I appreciate you stopping by, man. Good to see you as always. I am a camera, convention, and streaming junkie. Yeah, man. You
talk about cover your ass. I mean, he covered his ass.
Yeah, really.
Because George shot everything, so he shot everything too.
So yeah. Since says I recorded the part where John Rice explains where the tenement used to be on his phone. Yeah, John Rice actually pulled up fucking maps on his phone. Was like trying to pinpoint, like, oh, this is where But yeah. Excuse me. Robert says, Alpha, your buddy is cool. Or you're cool. I forgot your name. What's your name?
Will. Well, it was different at the bar, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that tonight.
Let's see, several got your name, but yeah, you're amazing to talk to you at the mall. Thank you. I appreciate all you do, and thank you so much. Keep it up, buddy. I appreciate it, man. And dude, you need to start putting some shit on your channel. I saw you Zed of the Dead. I checked it out. You got one video on there. I think you start doing some shit, man. I think you'd be good at it. Since says I asked John Amplis about that dreaming. Yeah, we mentioned that. Yeah, it was Tony's dad's military gear in Dawn. What happened next? I remember.
Is that the morning that we didn't have any coffee. We didn't have any coffee. I was like, and we hadn't
Yeah.
eaten. We were
Yeah,
like,
and
we're
we
dying.
had struggled out at the airport to get that fucking
Yeah,
sign, and so yeah, after we got John Rice, we hit up the Red Robin outside, and
yeah. That's when hangry
how'd that
started
go,
kicking
Will?
in.
Yeah, how'd that
Yeah,
go, Will?
yeah. Usually when we sit down at a booth, within at least a couple minutes, the waitress is supposed to be up. What would you like to drink? Well, 10 minutes goes by, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm thirsty, I'm hot, I'm hungry, and I lose it. I just fucking lose it, man.
I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what was gonna go on. But we were just sitting there. I was like, because I had gone to the bathroom. I asked you to order my drink, and I went to the
Hmm.
bathroom, and I come back, and I just kind of assumed that you had ordered it already, and they just hadn't brought it yet. So I'm just sitting there and waiting. We're talking, and it's just kind of waiting. I can see you kind of get antsy and kind of looking around and kind of being like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then without saying anything, you just get up and walk away. You walk to the kitchen, and you're just like demanding. And then this lady was like, "Oh yeah," or it was a guy who was like, "Oh, we're bringing the manager over right now." I'm just like looking at you as you sit back down. I'm just like, what did you do, Will?"
Call the
But
manager over. Poor customer service.
hey, speak to your manager, sir.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a flip
but
my head.
so we ate some round robin, red robin. Um, what we did? I think we grabbed a coffee and then continued around the convention a little bit.
No. We got the coffee as soon as we got to the mall because we were like, that's the first thing we're gonna do is grab coffee.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And then when we got done eating, we went back inside, and then, uh, but that was Saturday afternoon ish. So
Yeah. So pretty much by the time the mall was closing, that's when we went outside and we ended up just hanging out in the parking lot and talking to Synth for about 3 hours. Just kind of did our own thing out there. And the dude from Wales was kind of walking around looking at the mall. And we
yeah,
ended up
but what
talking.
I think that was the same night that we had Scott Kellaway do that photo for Barb and the family.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we ended up getting Scott was selling not 8x10s, but photos of himself as Flyboy Zombie, and had him sign one and send a little message to Barbara Imke, David Imke's sister. And so I sent that off today. Hopefully she doesn't watch this, or I'm going to spoil it. But sent that off today with a letter thanking her for all the 8x, because she sent both me and you those 8x10s that
Hmm.
she found. That was really, really cool. Really made my day that day. And I think I ruined it for you. I wish I would have told you, because then you would have been surprised too. Because as soon as I got it, I texted you and I was like, "Dude, look what Barb sent me," and you're just
Yeah, I
like,
know.
"Oh yeah, cool, man. All right, thanks."
Yeah, I didn't realize that she sent me one, but then I got to thinking, I was like, well, let me go check my mail just in case. And check my mail, and there it is. It's like, ah! I was like, I got one too. Ha 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 ha! I got one too.
Um. So yeah, then we did that. Went out to the parking lot, hung out with Synth for a few hours, and then by about 3 hours in, I was about to piss myself.
Yeah,
So I was like, dude, we got to hit up the Sheets. We got to go down to the Sheet, which the Sheets in Monroeville is apparently the fucking place to be on a Friday or Saturday night.
yeah,
That place was hopping. They got all kinds of shit going on in there. After we leave there, we were just like, all right, yeah. So yeah, you want to go back and because it's about the time the VIP party was letting out. He was like, yeah, you want to go back and catch the people on the way out or crash the party, I don't know. But as we're coming out, everybody's pretty much coming out drunk. I mean, Jason Lively was, three sheets to the wind, and uh, saw Matt Blasey. Matt Blasey come out. He was hanging out with Paul Farver. Saw him. I got to tell him, I really appreciate what he did with WGON,
mm-hmm.
and he said people have been asking him to bring that back. Him and Eric Kent to bring that back finally, and I fully am full agreement with that, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for him and Eric. Um, but then Larry comes out with his wife and Rosemary Rixey, who plays
Yeah.
the what would you call her? The housecoat zombie in Dawn of the
Well,
Dead.
she no, they labeled her as the rooftop zombie.
Rooftop zombie. Okay. Wasn't she wearing like a
I think it was like a white sweater or something. I
white
can't
sweater?
really.
Okay. Rooftop zombie. Okay. Who am I thinking of? Anyway, it don't fucking matter. Anyway, so we're hanging out there, and Larry's talking to Rosemary, and she's drunk. I mean, she's drunk as a fucking skunk. Larry calls us over. He's like, "Hey, come meet Rosemary." And we're like, "All right." So you start talking to Rosemary, and I about like Howard Stern, and we both used to work at the post office and all that shit. And you and Rosemary, we just let you guys be. How was that, Will? How did that go?
Yeah, me and Rosemary, we hit it off perfectly. Like we were just
You
like
did.
we were talking government, we were talking everything. Like when she broke her ankle or something like that, she had to go to the hospital, and like she had some one liners that she was just zipping off, and I was like, that's some pretty good shit. I mean, but she was lit. She was lit.
Yeah, she was pretty drunk.
But she was coherent. She was very coherent. She was
Yeah, she's one of those drunk, like when you get drunk and you're just really, really talkative. And it's like just one after another, one story after another, one thing after another. So me and Larry talking, and you and Rosemary talking. And so Larry, everybody's pretty much dispersed out now. The mall security's there waiting for everybody to get the fuck out and go away. And we're all leaving. We're all, it's just down to like me, you, Rosemary, Larry, and his wife Margaret. And Larry and Margaret are leaving. It's like, all right, guys, we're heading out. Like, okay. And Rosemary was about to call an Uber or text or order or whatever you do with an Uber. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like the security's just saying that. I was like, she's the last person there. I'm like, well, dude, if we leave, like, she's just going to be standing there waiting for an Uber. And it's like, I don't even really trust that she can call an Uber at this point. Like, who knows? So you're just like, hey, we can just give Rosemary a ride home, And I'm like, that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. I was about to say that too. I was like, come on, you can just get a ride home with us. So on the way home, we get in the car. On the way home, it's one story after another about her apartment and just like what a piece of shit that her landlord is. And it's like, she's like, oh no, that's the old landlord. The new landlord's even fucking worse. And we're like, oh, okay.
She had like a lease violation because she had a tire up in the garage so that she didn't smack it through the wall or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't understand what the fuck she was talking about there. She was like, there was a tire on the wall. I was like, I just was just like, oh yeah, cool, all right, tires on the wall. What was she talking about? Like, what, a tire on the wall? I thought she had as decoration in her living room, a tire on her wall. But I don't know.
Well, I thought it was like what she meant, like if she were like, I don't know if she drinks and drives or not, but like I guess that would probably be a little bumper, a bumper to keep her from like hitting the wall. Or what. I'm not saying she does drink and drive. I'm just saying if she did, that the tire was there to protect her from hitting the wall. I mean, that's what I gathered from the story.
That's fucking genius. We need to put a fucking tire in the garage, so if we hit it, we just bounce off.
Like bumper cars, it's rubber. That's what bumper cars
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but I never thought of it that way.
I mean that's what I took away from the story. I mean that's
I don't know if
sober. I was sober.
Yeah, that was the thing. We didn't drink at all that night. It was crazy. Yeah. We didn't do anything.
Then she had an incident with her ring doorbell camera. About how it was. She was the only one with a Ring doorbell camera. And, I mean, she just came off with these one little liners, and she was just zinging them. I mean, it was funny as shit. We laughed all the way back.
She was something else. I mean, you could tell she's because she was what? Yeah. Because she said she was what? Like she was
17. She was
17 in Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she only lived like a mile down the road, so it wouldn't. But she was,
And that was her first convention appearance.
Was it really? I thought she was there last year. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, she said it was her first convention appearance because she donated it to the Humane Society or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. But you guys have become pretty good friends. I've seen she's commenting on some of your stuff lately on Facebook, and
we hit it off pretty well. So, I mean, there's some other things that happened, but we can't discuss that. So,
yeah, we'll let the audience use their imagination on that. It's probably.
Let me just say I'm 140 pounds soaking wet. It was Pittsburgh in June. I'm thinking, oh, it'll be probably 70s, 80s. You know, it was cold as shit, and I'm from because I'm in shorts and a shirt. You know.
It is true, yeah.
Next thing I know, her hands are down my shirt,
Okay,
and
well, all right, let's calm
I
down. All
mean,
right, let's just.
well, I mean, it wasn't X-rated or anything.
Okay.
It was
People
fun
are gonna.
though.
That's what people are gonna think. So I'm just gonna play into
Yeah,
it now. I'm just,
yeah,
um. Anyway, so that night after we drop Rosemary off, we're just like, all right, now what the fuck are we gonna do? It's only midnight, man. What are we gonna
yeah.
do? That's the thing. Like when you're in Pittsburgh, it's just like, all right, well, let's go find something else to do. Fuck it. Who needs sleep? Apparently, I needed sleep that next day on the way home because man, that was rough. But so what we do next? Oh, we drove to downtown Pittsburgh, and I forget what the fuck we were even going there for. Do you
We
remember
went to
what
we went to the police stops.
Yeah, we did. We ended up doing that, but I didn't. That wasn't our intention. That wasn't our plan. I think we were just driving to
Yeah,
into downtown Pittsburgh just to drive and look.
yeah.
And we ended up in Mount Washington just by
Oh
happenstance.
yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, Mount
Yeah,
Washington. Yeah,
yeah. I just took like a wrong turn or something, and we ended up. And I was just going up this hill, and you're like, "Oh, this is Mount Washington." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I've never been. I don't know, but man, what a beautiful fucking like you get up there and you get this beautiful shot. I mean, you took an awesome picture of Pittsburgh from because they have like these little overlooks and shit.
yeah, yeah. It's all downtown Pittsburgh. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean I was awesome. I mean, and it was weird. I was kind of freaked out because when we got up there, where all the sights and stuff are, and we're like I said, it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever the hell it was. And there's just like this party going on down this street. Like people are just out. You can smell
All right.
weed in the air. All of them. It's just like I was just like, are we safe here? But it's like just people hanging out. Like, I'm not used
Yeah.
to that. Like here, we roll up the sidewalks at 9 o'clock and call it. Like nothing's happening until tomorrow. Um. So yeah, we hang out there for a little bit, take in the sights. I'm like, that's really nice. You're like, well, the police dock is like right down the road here. Like it's right over there if you want to go. I'm like, all right, what the hell? So like 1 a.m, we're down at the police dock location where it used to be, lining up shots. I mean, this place is like fucking grungy as hell. Like this is definitely a place where people
Right.
are smoking crack and sucking dick at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night. Like,
Sucking dick for cheeseburgers is what they were
yeah.
doing.
And we're just down there, we're like matching up shots. Like, okay, the helicopter would have landed here because you showed me that's where the Ford sign is. I mean, it's still a Ford sign there. We're trying to figure out where the actual dock is, where Roger, calls out. It's like, hey, you better get a move on you. And we're trying to match this up and figure it out. I'm like, it's actually pretty cool. Like, yeah, it'd have been cool to see it in the day, I guess. But like at night, like it's easier to match up because it was shot at night. So you can actually see
Yep.
the lit up sign and all that. And we actually figured out where the big building where the lights the lights start going out when the helicopter goes out. We figured out that was the UPMC building, the Upper Peninsula Medical Center. So we were able to figure that out because we were able to match it up with the shot. We were like, okay, so that would make sense. So,
and we even found the wrought iron little the metal pieces where you could actually see.
You can actually see, yeah, you could still there. It looks like they'd raised it a little bit where they maybe added some concrete or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool to be down there by the water at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, people were just parked out there,
Hot
fucking,
rodding.
yeah, just shooting up, and who knows what the hell was going on out there. We almost got run over at one point. I don't even think you really realized it, or maybe I was just freaking out because I was just sketched up. But there was these two cars like drag racing through that area, and we're just standing out there like trying to, do nerd shit. And this car's coming, it's just swerving towards us. I'm just like, get the fuck out of the way. Yeah, it was weird. But it was cool. I that was one of the highlights of the trip, I think, which is being down there at 1 o'clock in the morning, matching up those shots and seeing it at night, the way it was shot. But yeah, that was really fun. And then I think I don't remember what we did. I think we just drove around Pittsburgh in a circle a couple times.
Yeah,
just like,
literally in a circle. Yeah.
Yeah, just like what do you want to do now?
We found out that Pittsburgh does have a train system or a rail system underground.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We discovered that. But But yeah, but by the time we left the police dock, and that was the first time I'd been there, so that was really cool to see it like that. By the time we left the police dock, I mean everything was pretty much done, closing down in Pittsburgh. At 2 o'clock, it's pretty much everything closes down in Pittsburgh. So ended up going back to the hotel and just hanging out. Like we weren't drinking or anything. It was just like we were just fucking deliriously tired and probably a little hungry. Oh, we stopped at a gas station on the way back, and you ate like fucking 2 packs of Pop-Tarts or something like that because
I'm starving.
I found the remnants in the seat the next day. I was like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, like Pop-Tarts, and I grabbed something. I like some chips or something. Then we go back to the hotel and we're just sitting there talking, and you proceed to give me like the biggest like fucking hype speech of all time, and I'm just like, I'm gonna hire you to be my fucking Don King, man. You're my new manager.
Yep. Definitely give me accolades about the channel.
I appreciated it. I mean, it really touched me. Like it really moved me. I was just like, wow, this is cool. I think I've made a new friend.
like I was thinking, I was thinking today, I was like, man, I got used to being around this fucker for like about 4 or 5 days. I was like, I kind of miss his ass.
I know. I was so used to being around you 24/7 for a while. It was weird, like because even like the next day, that Sunday, because we drove separately, we decided to go back to the mall, just kind of one last look around. Like I told you, I was like, even just driving there by myself, I was like, well, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't have. Where's my buddy? I don't have nobody to talk to. Okay. But yeah, it was a really good time, man. I really had a lot of fun. And then Sunday we go back to the mall, and we're just like, because like I said, at first it was like, all right, we'll leave early Sunday, we'll get back, do laundry and whatnot. But no, we were just like, all right, let's go back one more round. We ended up staying there till what, 3 o'clock, something like that. Just going around saying bye to everybody and getting last minute signatures. Like that's when I met Sharon Carroll, got her signature. That's when I met Howard Berger. Got here.
At first he was 40, then he was 20. So I was like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah. He was cool though. He was when I first saw him, I was going to get him to sign my Day of the Dead book, but I realized I didn't have it with me in my backpack. So I was like, oh man, I forgot it. I'll be back. We had to go back up to the car, and we ran into Paul. That's where Paul actually went back to the naturalizer store, which we actually walked in because it's going to be like the last time we do it because they're closing after 47 years. Which, if you guys that don't know, the naturalizer shoe store is the last store from in the mall that's from Dawn of the Dead. That's in the exact same spot that it was when the movie was filmed. And then Paul ended up getting another gift certificate from him and gave it to me to remember it by. So it's a $5 gift certificate. I'm not going to buy any women's shoes anytime soon, I don't think. But
a lot of little old women in there too.
Oh man, they were actually like fucking busy when we walked in there. Like there's a bunch of people there. So that was also the day we ran into John Bulow again. We went to talk to Tom Dubinsky. You got Tom Dubinsky to sign your poster book.
Yeah.
What else did we do? Garf. That was when we went to the Garf table, and the Garf. We mentioned this earlier. The Garf was pretty much desperately just trying to get rid of as much shit as they could. Chris Stavrakis was there. We talked to him for a little bit. Super nice guy. Like I don't think I've really ever talked to Chris.
Yeah, like I met him one time at there was this place in Lexington. It was called Hunters Against Hate, and it was like they had Johnny, or they had Russ and Judy and for a convention, and they had a Garf table there. So that was the first time I met Chris.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was in Lexington. It was a couple of years back.
Huh? Never heard of that. But yeah, we talked to him for a while, and he was just like, all right, $5, spin the wheel. And I think you gave him $5 and then like moved the wheel to what you wanted. And he was just like, all right, that's what it landed on. There you go. Now you got something really cool though. I picked up a couple of things. I spun the wheel, I think a couple times, and they were just given. I got a bag full of shit here, but I think you scored the treasure.
The holy grail. Well, I wouldn't say holy grail, but like something that I thought I would never ever have in my life. So I won one of the grab bags, and so I pick it up and I'm just like casually going through it, and then I come across this beauty, a signed Marilyn Eastman. That's was awesome. Great.
I was blown away when I saw. I was like, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
seriously?" Because that's a signature I don't have on anything. Like, even my Night of the
Yeah.
Living Dead poster, I never got Marilyn's signature on it.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
The only other rare signature that I have is when Jim Cirinello did the Autopsy of the Dead, and when they released the DVDs, they did like these limited edition signed photos from from the ghouls and whatever from the documentary, and I got a signed photo from Charles Craig, dressed
that's
as
cool.
dressed as a ghoul. So that
Huh.
was I really don't have a whole lot of Night of the Living Dead people signatures, which I need to get on that, but yeah, that was pretty damn good for a $5 spend.
Yeah, you can't beat that for $5. I mean, that you try to find a Marilyn Eastman signature on eBay, and I mean, you're forget
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, and I remember these cards because I think like these I think were from the 1960 or 1993 Harmon and Eastman Studios, made in 1993. So maybe this was something from the Zombie Jamboree, maybe. Not Charlie
Yeah,
Short.
possibly. If that's 93, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really fucking cool. So we both got grab bags. I think we both got the Night
Yeah.
Riders mug. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool little mug. I don't think I'll ever use it for like
No.
coffee or anything, but I mean, it's it's nice little collectors. We got. I think you ended up giving me this.
I did. Yeah. Who was that guy again? I don't remember.
Well, I think I don't know. The joke is that it looks like Chris. It looks like Christopher,
Right.
but it's actually Patton Oswalt, the comedian Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the most random thing. I don't know why. But I mean, it comes with I got the whole bag here. Hang on. Oh, here's that Tony Buba Blu-ray that he gave me to watch. Comes with a certificate of authenticity from Patton Oswalt. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to put up a.
No.
I don't have anything against him, but I just don't have it. Not really give a shit. But just some 8x10s of George. Now there's a really cool one in here.
Yeah, that's a good
I love that one from
yeah.
Night of the Living Dead. Now they're not signed, but there's a cool one.
Yeah.
Classic,
that's a good one. Yeah.
classic image from Night of the Living Dead. Oh, here's.
Hold on, you're frozen.
Maybe.
Hold on. Okay, now what is it? Show it again.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, all right.
You're still frozen. Hold on a second. You're still frozen. Okay, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just gonna hold this here in front of the.
Yeah, there you go. You're back.
Am I good? Am I back?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
All right.
You're good.
All right. So here's the photo I'm trying to show. George, early George. Like,
I've never seen that.
It looks like, yeah, I haven't either. It looks like fucking definitely latent image, probably commercial work George, possibly Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood George. I'm not sure. Then of course, some classic, just a lot of 8x10s of George. I was just like, fucking hey, I'll take these. Later one. It's $5. You can't beat it.
No, you can't.
Brochure. What else is in here? I mean, just a grab bag full of shit. Never seen this either, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Knights of the Living Dead. It's George Romero, Max Brooks, who did World War Z and Zombie Survival Guide. Who's it? Dr. Steven Schlotzman? Am I frozen again?
A little bit.
Sorry. But yeah, never heard of the last guy there.
Here, give me a second. I gotta turn my AirPods off because they went dead. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
It might be Two Evil Eyes Blu-ray. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that T-Blue.
Maybe some.
Oh, I also got. Did you get the Day of the Dead soundtrack too?
I didn't. No.
Oh, I got a copy of the Day of the Dead soundtrack.
Was that in your bag?
It was, yeah.
Oh, one other thing that I thought was cool that the Garf had at their table was this
yeah.
photo from the 40th anniversary screening in Dallas, Texas, of Night of Living Dead. Of course, George Casana, Russ Striner, Judith Ridley, George Romero, Kyra Schoen, John Russo, and Bill Heinzman. I found we were just looking through posters. I found this. I was like, I gotta have this because I was at this screening. It was my first time meeting all these people, and I was just blown away at the head. And I was like, $10, fuck it, I'll take it. But am I still coming in clear? Am I
Yep,
okay?
you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Right. Let me see if I can catch up on a couple of chats here. Since says, did you guys try the fudge on sale in the mall? No. We're just like, no. I'm telling you, dude, we didn't hardly have time to eat anything, let alone stop and eat fudge. Former football star Franco Harris was on the set at night. Yep, Dawn of the Dead. There's a famous photo. There's two of them, actually. I think it's one is like Franco Harris and Ken Foray. And then one was Franco Harris and Richard Rubenstein hanging out. That'd be an interesting conversation.
Speaking of Ken Foray, I think I got that. I don't know if he accepted my bid on that T-shirt that Larry posted earlier or not. But
I saw that.
I think I made him an offer. I haven't checked it yet.
Yeah, as soon as I clicked on that BMP lighter, it was gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Did we ever figure
out what the BMP stood for?
No. Synthas that. I have no idea. Baltimore and Petroleum. That's what I'm going with.
Like Upper Peninsula.
Upper Peninsula. Because you asked me that, you're like, what does UPMC mean? I was like, the first thing you come up with is Upper Peninsula Medical. I'm like, where did that come from?
That was so funny.
Since this guy was the DJ from Wales Saturday night while we were chatting.
Yeah. He was a DJ. Yeah, because he had said he DJ'd at a bar downtown Pittsburgh the night before.
Yeah. And he had that fucking Dawn of the Dead soundtrack that blew me away. Because, like I said, 99.9 actually.
You're like, wait a minute. I was like, I know that.
I've been looking for one of those for years. So, like, typically, if you got Dawn of the Dead, original soundtrack, U.S. soundtrack, on the back, your Dawn of the Dead is in black and white. Like, everything on the back is black and white. Well, he had one that the Dawn of the Dead was in red. And that is really rare and really hard to find. He was just pulling out of his bag. He was just like, hey, look, I got this signed. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Let me see that.
Right? You're like,
I was like, holy shit, you have the red one. He was like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I think he said his brother gave it to him or something like that.
And he was like, he had in that bag and the corners were bending. I'm like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I was like, dude, come on.
No.
He's like, yeah, it's a little creased, but whatever. I'm like, no, dude, that's a fucking rare ass record you have there. Like, don't do that. But he was a super nice guy, super cool.
Yeah, I ended up catching him getting a selfie with him the next day, but I wish I'm really bad about people's names. It took me I had to ask you what Drewski's name was like 10 times. I'm like, what's that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, you asked me the only reason I remember, because I'm really bad with names too. And the only reason I remember it because I remember Drewski, I put together Drew Sky. And then I thought of the Pink Floyd song Goodbye Drew Skies. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's the way my 80 what did I say? Undiagnosed autism.
Yeah, autism.
It's my undiagnosed autism coming into play there. Anyway. The plaintiff pawing at the window zombie. I guess that'd be a good name for Rosemary Rixey. Yeah. Here's a good question, Stuka's dad. Was there any rude guests this time? The only one that he wasn't really rude, but he was a little crotchety, was Tom Atkins.
Oh yeah, when you
Tell him
got
about Tom
Matt,
Atkins.
when you got Matt's autograph.
Yeah, tell him about Tom Atkins.
So like I walk up, of course, you're sitting there, talking to the handler or whatever, and like I'm just making up, I shake his hand. I was like, hey, huge fan, striking up a small conversation, letting you know that I'm from Bowling Green, which is the hometown of John Carpenter, and he's like, what? He's like, I was like, I'm from the hometown of John Carpenter. What'd you say? I can't hear you. I am from the hometown of John Carpenter. He still couldn't hear me. I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I'm going to repeat myself like 10 times.
I was sitting there. I was like, how am I going to help him get out of this? Like, I don't know how to break it. Because you were just like, Bowling Green, John Carpenter, I live, Bowling Green. And he's just like,
what?
Huh? Yeah, John Carpenter. I worked with John Carpenter one time.
Yeah.
Where are you from? And you're just like, Bowling Green.
He's like, oh, yeah.
But it was like the end of the day. It was like Saturday. He was tired. He's ready to get the fuck out. And I was like bringing him because Matt wanted me to get it signed for him, his wife, his kid. It was just like his whole list. And Tom looked at the names and he's like, God, what did he say? Like, God damn, by the time it would be writing a fucking book. He'd be writing a fucking novel.
He's like, what the fuck, man?
He's like, God damn, I'm never going to get the fuck out of here.
Right. Because people just kept coming up. He's like, we're supposed to leave at 6, and it was like 6:20.
It's just like, God. But the funny thing is, he's crouching, but he was nice. He was cool the same way. Like, he was funny. Like, he knew that it was cracking us up, so he would just keep playing. It's kind of like the story I tell when he called Elvira a bitch. Kind of the same thing. It's like he's doing it because he's trying to crack up, his patrons or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't really. I mean, Tom was Tom. But I tell you what, Howard Berger was super cool. It's like I was saying earlier, like when I forgot the book, I went and got it, and we were standing in the, I think we were standing there talking to Synth, and Howard had left his table, and we were just kind of waiting out in by where they were doing all the panels and stuff. And we saw Howard coming down the escalator, and you were like, oh, hey, there he is. You want to go? And I was just like, yeah, you'll wait for him to get back to his table. But he came up to me and was just like, hey, there you are. Come on, let's go sign your book. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we walked through the mall with Howard Berger for a minute. It was just like, fucking Howard Berger up here. And you didn't even know who Howard Berger was. I thought it was kind of funny.
No idea.
You were like, I didn't know you were like, I don't even know who the fuck you were.
Like I said, I'm very selective about my horror movies. So, I mean, like, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, him and Nick Taro and Kurtzman, I mean, K&B, I mean, they've done not even just horror movie. I mean, I think they fucking built a buffalo for Legends of the Fall or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, what was that one movie? Not Legends of the Fall. One with Kevin Costner in it from like 90.
Dances with Wolves?
Dances with Wolves, yeah. Let's see. Since says the Color Park police doc. I caught a piece of it on the way to the airport. Lots of skaters there during the day. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, at night it's fucking like I said, crackheads and blowjobs going on out there. I think there's a kind of a hang spot. I think it's kind of the place where people go to park.
Mm-hmm. Smoke, like you said, smoke crack and bad decisions
or good decisions. I don't know, whatever. I don't know where these people's lives go. The fuck does this mean? Mr. Joseph Bean. Henry Luckenbill, Mr. Bean. Interesting. It's a new name. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. I don't know what you're talking about, but appreciate it. I wonder if maybe are you talking about? No, you don't look like Mr. Bean. I think he's talking about Patton Oswalt, maybe.
Hey, it's better than looking like it's Pat, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can think of. But
do you know who It's Pat is?
Oh yeah. You want to hear a funny story about fucking Pat and Chris Farley?
Good.
So Chris Farley, I think Norm Macdonald tells this story when he first joined Saturday Night Live. He meets Chris Farley. And they're out. I think they're having they're having a party or something. It's like the beginning of the season. They're having a party, and Chris Farley comes over to Norm Macdonald and says, "Hey, man, welcome to the club. You're one of us now. You're on Saturday Night Live. Blah blah." He's like, "Hey, come with me. Come back to my hotel room with me. There's something we need to discuss." Okay, if you're gonna be on Saturday Night, there's something you need to know. So come with me, you know. So Norm walks with Chris Farley, goes back to Chris Farley's hotel room. Chris Farley's being very like secretive. And he shuts the door and he says, "Okay, Pat is a guy." It's like, you got to know this. Pat is a guy. That movie, though, it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
I know. This
It's
shit's
bad.
funny as hell.
All right, what the fuck was it?
Does that little chuckle?
Couldn't make that movie today, though.
No, you couldn't.
That's one of those you couldn't do today.
No. You'd offend everybody.
Yeah, since you should have gone by the Garf table. $5, man. I mean, and literally, Will went and just put the wheel where he wanted it. It was like, okay, it landed there, and Chris was just like, okay, have
You
it.
got a winner. Yeah.
Yeah, winner.
And then I what was the other thing that I got? Oh, I got the Night Riders poster.
Yeah, you got the poster, which I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. The poster that I got, I'm sending to my buddy Grande, so I don't know if he's still watching or not.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to say what it is, but
Yeah.
I hope you like it, Grande. Hope you like it, Grande. Larry guessed on the BP name meaning at the end of the tour when I asked. Yeah, I remember. I don't feel like Larry really knew what the hell it meant either, or what it stood for.
Maybe that's why we started asking what it was. You know, I was like, oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, something to look into. So Tom Atkins was nice in the hallway, just like Savini. Atkins is very hard of hearing. I just yeah, I mean, Tom Atkins is 80 something fucking years old. I mean, we weren't like mad that he couldn't hear us. It was just more like,
not damn. It was like pulling teeth. You know?
Yeah, it's just like kept having to repeat, kept saying it, and he's just like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. Bowling Green? What are you talking about?
If anyone is unaware, John Carpenter is from Bowling Green, and Halloween is based on Bowling Green because I live in Warren County, but in Halloween World it's Haddonfield, but we have a Smiths, Warren County Smiths Grove.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the street names are actual names in Bowling Green, and of course, you being from Hoptown, I mean, Western State Hospital, that's the hospital.
Home of Michael Myers.
Home of Michael Myers. So
that's our one claim to fame. And the funny thing is, like, so when they built Western Kentucky University and Western State Hospital, it was a competition. It was like, who's going to get which? Like, is Hoptown going to get the college and vice versa? You fucking guys got the mall and all that because you got the college, and you guys got shit to do in Bowling Green, and we grew up in a fucking loony bin. Like, that's all we got we didn't got shit to do here. So that's why we just stood around smoking fucking meth all day in Hoptown back in the day. That's why Hoptown's as fucked up as it is now. It's because you fuckers got the college and we got the loony bin. But hey, what the hell? We got Michael Myers out of it, so what the hell?
That's true. Yeah,
I'll take it.
And with Tommy Lee Wallace, he's from Monticello, but also went to WKU. So I do. You mentioned possibly trying to do like a John Carpenter type of convention or something, or a screening or something in Bowling Green. I think that's a great idea, man. I really think you should do that. I would totally help you in any way you needed. Yeah,
if you ever choose to do that.
Like I was telling Douglas Tate, he was he played a Michael Myers and maybe one of the remakes, but I think he played like Michael Part 7 or something. I can't remember which Michael he was, but he did one of our haunted houses here, and like I was telling about it, I was like, hey, Bowling Green is Haddonfield. Like, there is money to be made on tourism alone, because there's a really big thing here called there's a John Carpenter driving tour, and it literally takes you to every single mention, every road, every place that is mentioned in Halloween 2, and The Fog. I mean, it's just this whole big driving tour that you can take, and it mentions every single street sign or whatever, street town, names, whatever, Russellville,
Yeah. Russellville was always the one because Russellville is pretty close to Hoptown. So I remember hearing the name Russellville when I was a kid and being like, is that close? Like, what are we doing here? You're not a fan. I discovered you're not a fan of Assault on Precinct 13, are you?
No, I'm not.
How do you not like Assault on Precinct 13?
I don't know. It's just
It's not your thing.
no, it's not.
It's understandable. It's not really a horror movie. It's more of like just like a siege movie more than anything.
Yeah, it's sort of like a Mad Max type thing, you know, like.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because we saw the poster for that at that Eads place, and you were just like, fuck that movie. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what? I've never heard anybody have such hatred for that movie. I guess it wasn't hatred.
What?
I said, I guess it wasn't hatred. It was just more like, yeah, fuck that movie.
Disdain, more
Yeah.
like.
So you don't like Jaws. You don't like Assault on Precinct 13.
I'm very selective.
You must be. You like that fucking what's that movie you kept telling me about over the weekend? Subspecies?
Yeah, Subspecies. Yeah.
Oh, you were so into that. You were telling me about like all four of those. We were just like, oh man, and then this happens, this happens. I'm just like, man, you're really all about this fucking Subspecies shit. So I gotta check it out. I've never seen it. I'm not gonna it's Full Moon, right?
Yes, Full Moon, streaming on Tubi. You can watch them for free. There's commercials, but you can still watch them. All four of them on there, even the prequel that came out like a year before last, or maybe was it last year? But yeah, you got to check it out. I mean, that's why I was kind of wanted to go up to Tom Savini because he wanted to pitch a new zombie film to Charles Band, who owns Full Moon, and he said, yeah, the meeting never happened. So I was like, damn, I would love to see another zombie movie from Tom Savini. I mean, Night 90s. I mean, like Night 90s. It's to me, I don't really consider it a sequel or a remake to Night. To me, it's its own film, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it is a direct, remake, but I mean, to me, it's its own thing, you know. It's the same, but it's different. I don't know. It's really hard to explain.
John Villo says BP Trucking something to do with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or something.
Oh, well,
I mean, that's kind of what Larry was saying. He mentioned Baltimore having something to do with that, but that makes sense. Brandon Salisbury, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Hey, everyone, coming in late, but it was a great show last weekend. Already missing my LDW friends. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Just the stages of grief that one goes through when it's all over. Oh, here we go, Stugas. If you had to fight any of the guests, who would it be?
Fucking Buba from fucking Mama's Family. What is turquoise rings? What kind of shit is that?
Oh, was he wearing turquoise rings?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. From this convention specifically, I mean, I guess I don't know. I'd say Tom Atkins just because it'd be the easiest, but
I bet he'd probably whip your ass up, Michael.
Probably. I mean, it's still Tom.
Dr. Chalice would whoop the shit out of you.
It's still Tom fucking Atkins, so yeah, it's true. Who would I fight? This is a stupid ass question, but I'm gonna answer it because I love you, Stukas. Share. No. I'll fight Paula Richards, by God. Let's go. I don't know. I don't know how to answer.
You better not say Sharon Hill because I have to fight you on that one.
I couldn't. I think Sharon would probably kick my ass, honestly. She seems like she could scrap.
I fucking love her. God, I love her so much.
Let's see. Morning Night. What's up? Good to see you. Yes, my wife and I had an incredible time, and it always sucks when it comes to an end. Looking forward to the next one already.
Who is he?
I don't know. New name to me. I don't know. Morning Night. What is your God-given name, Morning Night? It's good to see you in here, man. I'm glad you had a good time. And like I said, next year, it seems like so far away, but I swear to God, these things sneak up on you so fast.
You're gonna have a table next year, just FYI.
Who, me?
Yeah, you should get a table for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I got a lot of shit I'd like to sell, and
I mean, just so much, just kind of like promote the channel and whatnot,
Yeah, it'd be a good way to do it. I'll look into it. But you got to help me though, because I'm not doing this shit by myself.
I got you.
All right. Then says, oh man, Assault is great. The music too. I agree. The soundtrack is fantastic. The score.
Andy, what have you not done?
Andy's a busy man. Andy's done a lot.
Like, I mean, talking about how like him and his buddy were just sitting there and they were just like drinking and whatever, and like his buddy just like What was that song that they did that he
I don't know, but
like,
the perfect line is like they were talking about furries, and it's like the costume is the glory hole or something like that. And I was just like, that's fucking brilliant. The costume is I don't know. I just thought that was a brilliant line. I was like, I want to hear that in something.
God, what's up with glory holes tonight, man?
I don't know, man. It's a constant theme on this channel going forward, I think. I don't know. Oh, we were talking about truck stops and shitting in truck stops earlier, so I think
Like
that's
bombing
where
for
we got
apples,
off.
man.
Yeah, I think I took it in a wrong turn very early on, so I apologize.
I mean, you're in a shit sandwich. I mean, like,
I
it's
really
it's all that
was.
gas station food, man. It has to be all that gas station food.
I don't know, man. A trucker has a hard life. There's no. You're just sitting and driving and eating and shitting, and that's pretty much your life. Brandon Salisbury says, "What was everyone's favorite part of Living Dead weekend? What was your favorite part, Will?"
Oh my god. Oh, I don't know. It's like this was probably the best convention I've ever been to. And a convention that I went all 3 days. My favorite part. Hell, I don't know. I mean, all of it was great. Um, I'm just trying to pick out one good.
Just trying to pick out one thing. My favorite part was the people.
Yeah,
Meeting everyone, talking to everyone, making new friends. That's always my favorite part of conventions is talking to people, like celebrities and getting autographs and stuff. Like, yeah, it comes with the territory. But the stuff that you remember, the stuff that lasts, is the conversations you have with people and meeting people like meeting Synth for the first time,
yeah.
talking to him and hanging out with Paul and Robert and his wife Christine Romero. It was great meeting Christine Romero again.
That was wild. I was like, what?
I know. I was like, this is Christine Romero. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, are you lost your mind? But yeah, that's my favorite part of any convention. Is just it's like if it's like when I went to Horror Hound a couple months ago. Like my favorite part of Horror Hound was just standing there talking to Blasey and Felcher and just talking about Romero with those guys. Like, yeah, there was other shit going on, but
I mean, like, I guess if I had to really pick a really pivotal moment of Living Dead Weekend would probably be the trial. I think
yeah, that was pretty.
that
That
was
was
that
pretty
was
hard to
fucking
top.
badass, man. Like, I was like, because I've heard about that thing for years.
Yeah, the trowel and that machete. I mean, just all that, and just meeting Dave himself. Like, because like I said, I've heard of Dave for years and years. I mean, they mentioned him on that commentary that Savini and Chris Stavrakis did for Dawn of the Dead over in the UK. They were like, oh, and some guy named Dave Burian discovered that. I mean, that was like late 90s. So,
Mm-hmm. And I think he say that he didn't pay for any of that.
yeah, I think he did say that. I think it was just all gifted to him from either like Savini and, yeah. Huh. But yeah. That was probably a hard highlight to beat this year.
Well, then we also met Bill Keys too.
Yeah, they did the live demonstration with him and Scott as Flyboy. That was pretty cool. I mean, there was a lot of build up. There was a lot of waiting around. And I'll say this about Scott Kellaway. Motherfucker stays in character. It's like an hour where everybody was just waiting there. Jerry Gurley was doing the effect on Bill Keys, and fucking dude just stayed in character. Like he didn't he was fucking zombie Flyboy the entire time. He did not break character once. And every now and then he'd have to do something to kind of keep people's interest, because the effect took a while to get together. But so I got to give hats off to him. I mean, he did not he doesn't break character. John says, if you're going to fight Paula or Sharon, you have to fight me too. I'm not fighting you, John. I have a name, but I'm not saying it. I'll say it, John. Come on, we're all buddies here. Who would you fight? Savini? I mean, it'd be an interesting fight. I still feel like he could.
I feel like John mentioned the name to us that weekend, and that he had a problem with or something. Am I mistaken?
I don't remember. Now I'm gonna be guessing because I don't.
But man, John's a wealth of knowledge too, man. Like you said, I mean, he went through some extensive research. I mean, marriage licenses,
Yeah,
like deeds. I mean, like, damn.
yeah. We were talking about you earlier, like kind of around the beginning of the stream, just going through like when we talked, hearing what you had to do to track down Sharon and all that, and it's incredible. Hey, you're working on something else. I wish you'd spill the beans on. Apparently, you've discovered something else. I'm just gonna say, like, if you finally discovered a photo or something that depicts fucking Richard France as a zombie in Night of the Living Dead, I'll bow down to you, sir, because that's the mystery right there. Because he swears up and down, and Richard France to me is a guy that wouldn't just bullshit for clout to be like, oh yeah, I was in Night of the Living Dead too, because he barely wants to talk about the shit he is in. So why would he just make something up? So I feel like
I remember him saying it on the panel.
Nobody remembers it.
I remember him saying it on the panel last year. So
yeah, but nobody else remembers him being there.
Yeah,
like nobody.
And Russ said that he was there every single day. So
yeah,
or maybe there was a couple of days that he wasn't there. Maybe, but for the most part, he was there every single day. It was him, George, and Rudy.
Mm-hmm. Well, Richard France said that it was the day that George wasn't there, and I don't remember anybody saying that there was ever a time that George wasn't there. But who knows? Since says the mall tour was pretty special, though. Yeah, the mall tour, you can't beat it. I mean, the first time you take that tour, like I said, I took it twice, just to see like the staircase and the boiler room and stuff. I mean, it's hard to beat. It's pretty damn cool. And Larry, I mean, Larry's a hell of a tour guide. I mean, he's got it down. Like, he knows, or down to the designs on the fucking marble. He's like, okay, line this up and look right here, and you're in the movie. And you're like, holy shit, that does perfectly match up. Let's see, Brandon says Tom's Night of the Living Dead is a great film on its own. I think it succeeds by respecting the original while also finding its own reason to exist. I refuse to choose between the two.
Yeah.
I mean, the original is my preferred, but But Tom's Night is the first zombie movie I ever saw, and that's what kind of got me into all this to begin with. So I definitely owe it a debt of gratitude for that. And I do think it's really well made on a lot of different fronts, but to me, when people talk about Night 90, I'm like, well, my line is, if you enjoy hearing people screaming at each other and hammering incessantly, you'll love Night 90, because that's all I think about when I think about that movie, and it overshadows so much good to me. Like, Tony Todd's performance is so good in that. I love Patricia Tallman. I think she's great in it. Bill Moseley, Tom Towles. There's so many good performances, so much good in it. But for me, I don't know. When I think about that movie, I just think of
Judy
Rose just screaming and howling the whole time while they're just hammering constantly. I don't know.
You shot Mr. Bruder.
Lots of screaming. All right, I'm backed up on comments here. Mine is just returning each day and spending the day mingling, chatting, etc. with guests and vendors.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the best part of it. It's like literally you're going to Pittsburgh to the mall. You're in Romero land with other like-minded people that speak your language. That's the best part. Interesting you say that, Synth. You should have a shirt to promote your channel. Well, actually, I do have a TeePublic shop open right now. If you want to go to shop.alfaromero.store, as a matter of fact, you can be the first kid on your block to own this Fluid band t-shirt. Now, of course, Fluid, Mike Christopher, Paul Musser, the band that they were in back in the 70s when they shot Dawn of the Dead. They now have their own. Trying to get around this fucking mic. Hang on.
That's cool as shit.
They have their own t-shirt courtesy of Alfa Romero and TeePublic. So hop on over, check it out. I did put up a new design yesterday too. Susanna Sparrow Book Club. If you're a big fan of Susanna Sparrow. It's literally it's just designs and shit that I created just because it's shit that I'd be interested in wearing. I've never seen or heard of a fluid band t-shirt before, so I fucking made one. So if you'd like to buy,
probably need to send that link to Mike Christopher because hell, he could promote the hell out of that shit.
oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Shit, I think I fucked up the volume. Sorry if that got loud for a second.
No, you're good. Your volume didn't change.
But yeah, there's some other designs and shit on there too. Yeah, that was a wild music project with a friend. I need to make a band. Oh yeah, we were talking about the fucking the furry song about the glory hole. I don't know. Mine too. I spend 95% of my time bullshitting with other attendees and guests. It's great to see everyone's love for Georgia's films. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Like, yeah, meeting guests is cool and all that, but it's making friends and finding all these like-minded people, because let's face it, in our day-to-day lives, like, there's nobody else you can really talk to about this kind of stuff. It's like I went back to work on Monday and I was like, guys, I'm fucking exhausted. And the guy was like, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? How was vacation? And I was like, yeah, I went to Pittsburgh and I'm exhausted. And he's like, oh, what'd you go to Pittsburgh for? That's weird. I'm like, well, I got this tattoo of Dawn of the Dead on my arm. It's kind of a thing. It's like, some people are Star Wars nerds. I'm a Dawn of the Dead nerd.
Yeah, because you and Drewski are twins,
Yeah. I think he had a few tattoos, Romero tattoos. But yeah, it's hard to explain to some people. But when you find people that get it, like you, like it's a bond. Can't break it up. It's like, oh wow, we both speak this weird language that nobody else speaks.
But we were also able to discuss everyday things in life as well. So not only did I get
Yeah.
as a person, but also as a fan. So
yeah. I mean, when you spend that much time with somebody over the course of 3 or 4 days, it's like at some point it just breaks down into like, who are you as a person too?
Yeah.
Stuka says you'd buy a shirt. Okay. Let's get at it. Shop.alfaromero.store. Because .com was too expensive.
You should drop the link in the bio at some point.
Yeah, I think the link is in the description. It's down there somewhere.
There's like yeah.
There's 6 different designs on there right now. If you want to check it out. I'm not gonna push it too hard just because like I'm not trying to be fucking QVC here.
Fucking push it, dude. Push it.
All right, well, I'm gonna push it here real quick.
Really. Plug it, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So everybody likes Fright Rags. Everybody loves Fright Rags. What does it cost to buy a t-shirt at Fright Rags? $36 fucking dollars right now. Yeah. 28, 36 bucks. That's insane. Go to TeePublic. You can pick out your design. Not only can you get it on a t-shirt, you can get it on a coffee mug, you can get it on a sticker, you can get it on a magnet, you can get it on whatever you want. But also, you want a t-shirt, you can get the style of t-shirt you want. Some people like, skinny fitted t-shirts. Some people like the heavyweight shit. Doesn't matter. You pick your style. You pick your color. You want it on black? Cool. You want it on white? Cool. You want it on purple? Get it on fucking purple. Who cares? You design what style of shirt, what color you want. You're just using a certain design for it. $22. I think the Susanna Sparrow shirt right now is on sale for $16. $16 for a Susanna Sparrow t-shirt. You can't beat that. Who else has a Susanna Sparrow t-shirt? Nobody. You will be the first on your block, I guarantee you, to have a Susanna Sparrow t-shirt. Let's do it now. Act fast.
Yeah.
And orders over $80 are free shipping. Throw that out there.
That was a great pitch, man.
Thanks. I tried it on my fiance last night. I was kind of drunk or stoned or whatever the fuck I was doing. And I was just like, all right. I was showing her this design. She was like, well, how much is shipping? I'm like, fuck shipping. Who cares? Nobody cares about shipping. It's included in the price.
It's right. Like when the Night of Living Dead store, the Image 10 store opened up, I ordered a t-shirt and I was like, free shipping? I was like, this doesn't seem right. And I was like, Jim, they got free shipping. He's like, yeah, that was supposed to happen.
We'll fix that.
Yeah.
Brandon says Scott is a really wonderful guy.
Super jealous of him, but yeah, he's a good guy.
I
want to look like Flyboy.
Do I?
I want to look like Flyboy.
I think you could. I think the stash is.
Yeah.
I like the stash though. I think it's a good choice. I think it's working for you. I think I saw somebody comment said you look like a young Tom Skerritt or something the other day.
Who the fuck is Tom Skerritt?
Tom Skerritt. You don't know Tom Skerritt?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm selective about horror. I don't know.
Well, he's just more of like a general actor, but
What did he start? What did he star in?
good question. I'll send you a picture later. I'll text it to you. But it's true. Cool guy. Would be proud. Yeah, I think his family's gonna get a kick out of that when they see a picture of him. David's family, at least.
That was a really good idea that you came up with that. That was a really good idea.
Yeah, because I remember they mentioned they were like, "Oh, there's some guy that cosplays as David," and it's like it looks just like him and all that. And I was like, "I'd be funny if I got her a signed picture." I sent that out today, so hopefully she gets it soon. John says, "No, it's fine for the weekend. It would be someone I actually haven't met." Okay, I'm gonna guess Richard Rubenstein. That would be my guess. I wouldn't want to fight Richard. I mean, he's an asshole, but Top Gun. There you go. There's a Tom Skerritt movie. It's in Top Gun. He's the guy with the mustache. But I wouldn't want to fight.
You mean Tom Selleck?
No, there's Tom Skerritt. I don't know. I'll fucking.
It ain't that deep. I'll figure it out.
I'll send you a picture. You let me know what you think. But yeah, I wouldn't want to fight Rubenstein. I mean, he's not the coolest, but without him, like George wouldn't be able to. We wouldn't have gotten Dawn or anything after probably the Crazies. I mean, George would have probably wallowed in bankruptcy after that if it wasn't for Richard.
I mean, we did get the 3D version, and the second release. We at least we did get that. But I mean, I would love to have some actual like figures. Like, I'm not really into pops, but like something.
Yeah. Or just something different. I mean, we always get the airport zombie and the fucking flyboy zombie, which is cool. But I mean, it's like, how many of those do we need?
Like, give me a nurse zombie. Give me.
Oh yeah, if they come up with a nurse zombie, you'd be fucking first in line for that one. Yeah, nurse zombie. Give me a Jay Stover zombie with the fucking rifle. How awesome would that be? I'll drop $60-$80 on that.
Hell yeah. And like I forgot to I was gonna meet that one chick that was the scope, she was they got shot.
Susan Cosgrove.
Yeah, I didn't I guess they left Sunday.
Yeah. Apparently who told the story about her and her husband? Her husband was just getting a kick out of going around telling everybody he's a celebrity. He's like, "Oh, I'm a celebrity. Like, where's my booth?"
maybe it was Larry that said that or something.
Yeah, maybe Larry. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, that's pretty funny. Let's see. Russ also didn't remember Sharon Carroll from the credits, and it was his neighbor. It's interesting. It was fun seeing Striner and Russo together. May have a clip of it. Yeah, I missed that. It would have been cool to see Russ and John hanging out. John says, totally forgot to ask Cornick about Sparrow. I didn't ask. No, I completely forgot. I was trying to figure out who the girl at the beginning of Dawn is. I think the best guess that I've heard anybody have is that it was actually Catherine Colbert. But that's the only guess that I've ever heard, and that's a Larry guess, so I don't know. Says who is Susanna Sparrow? That's a good question. Nobody knows. But she's, quote unquote, the co-writer of the novelization of Martin and Dawn of the Dead with George Romero, because both of those are written by George Romero and Susanna Sparrow, and nobody knows who the fuck Susanna Sparrow is. But those are the only two books credited to her name.
Could that be like an anagram or something?
It could be. I don't know. It sounds like a made-up name. Like, it sounds like a fake name. Susanna Sparrow.
I need to be Robert Langdon right now and be able to solve anagrams, but
yeah, I don't know. We may never know.
No,
but you can get a t-shirt. But you can get a t-shirt with her name on it right now.
So does it say just Susanna Sparrow, or does it have like the book, or what?
No, it's got the novelization of Dawn of the Dead on it, and then on the bottom it says Susanna Sparrow. It's kind of in like Stephen King font. Yeah. Susanna Sparrow Book Club. So,
yeah, because we don't know if it was the book club edition that first came out or it was the other edition that came out, because there's two editions.
I looked the other day. I couldn't tell which one I had. I just have an old fucking copy.
It tells it on the second page, like the copyright. It say BC for book club or something.
I'll have to check when we get off here. Sent the. Yeah, you do. He says,
Man, I saw some things that I had never seen before on the 3D version.
Yeah, I mean the 3D works well because it's not distracting. It's more just like the background is standstill and the foreground type of thing. But
the only part that got me is when the guy that with the tire iron like slams in the beat like the glass flying, that got me. But that was literally about it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, anytime there's glass or like the spritzer bottles or whatever, when they start shooting, they just kind of come out of the screen. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's. I'm not a huge 3D fan in general. Like, I pretty much don't care about 3D at all. But I mean, it's Dawn of the Dead in 3D. I'm gonna fucking watch it. And it's tough, for people with glasses to wear 3D glasses on top of the glasses. So it's not very comfortable for me. But it was a cool experience. I mean, I'd definitely recommend it.
I went 3 or 4 times and watched it.
Yeah, I went. I wish I would have known you back then, because I ended up. Actually, it was the 2D version. I actually ended up driving all the way to Bowling Green to the Great Escape to see it. It was like on a Sunday, and it was like pouring down rain. It was a torrential downpour, but it was like the last day they were playing it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going." And I got in the car, drove through the fucking storm, finally got there, and it's like on a Sunday night at like 9:00 or something like that. I was just sitting there by myself. I was like, okay, I made it.
Yep.
Yeah. So any final thoughts, any final words? We've been going a little over 3 hours. I don't know if you want to do 4 like we did last week with Larry.
Hey, I'm game.
I got to take a piss if we do that. Last week I was crippled by the time we were done. I was like, all right, Larry, I'm out.
Go take a piss if you need to take a piss.
All right, I'm gonna go take a piss.
Okay.
Handle things?
I can handle it.
Okay. I'll turn it over to you. I'll be right back.
I mean, I don't really know what to say, but like, I can't really see any comments or anything. I'm
gonna go full screen on you here.
I gotta go pay. That's what Forrest Gump would say, but so yeah, it was really nice meeting John Buba. Wealth of knowledge, lots of knowledge. Talked Jim into doing some more night talk. I really enjoy those. And then hanging out with Andy. That was pretty cool. You and Michael had more in common than I did, but lots of chitter chatter about synth music, and I'm just clueless to it. I don't really know much about. I mean, just know how to turn a YouTube music playlist on. That's about it. But yeah, I guess looking back, I guess my favorite part of the con would probably be the trial. That was pretty awesome to actually hold that in hand. I didn't really have a favorite bender though. I guess that Peter Cushing bus probably was the best item that I saw. The guy with the 3D shadow boxes were pretty cool, but those were really expensive. I'm the type of person, if I'm going to buy something, I want it to be licensed. I don't like to buy bootleg items, even though I do have some bootleg items. I prefer licensed products because, especially, something from Night of the Living Dead, those folks deserve every cent that's been taken away from them. So, but yeah, got this Marilyn Eastman literally for $5. I mean, that was like the best. Like, this is the best thing that I got all weekend long. Yeah, getting John Rice was awesome, but this right here, like, I'll cherish those for sure. Love that. It's a little faded though, but that's okay.
All right, I'm back.
I'm just sitting here shooting the shit, just.
That's good. It looks like we picked up a couple of viewers, so maybe we'll just let you do it from now.
Yeah, saw my pretty face.
It's the Tom Skerritt mask. I'm telling you.
Right.
Hey, Uncle Mark, what's up? This is my Uncle Mark. He's the one that introduced me to Dawn of the Dead and all this shit to begin with.
Piss boy. Wait the shit.
Oh, Stugas is saying go for 4 hours. I mean, we're only 50 minutes away from that. So,
I mean, Larry. I mean, like I said, I laid there for 4 hours like a damn dead body, and like my friend like came in and left and came back. He's like, "You're still in the same spot." I was like, "Yeah, I haven't moved." I'm just laying here just watching, because I like hearing Larry talk, because you got the New Jersey accent, and of course he knows everything and he's the know-all of Dawn. So
yeah, like you said, if Jim Cernella is the master of night, Larry is the master of dawn. We'll just say that.
They need to do a podcast. They need to they actually probably need to do a documentary probably. But yeah, you need to watch Autopsy of the Dead since you've not seen that.
Yeah, I haven't been able to check that out yet. I still need to pick that up because I've seen the DVD like a bunch of times. Like I've just never bought it. I don't know why.
Probably has some laying around somewhere.
Yeah, I'd love to check that out.
Because they had limited editions. I mean, I think they only made like maybe 100 copies, maybe.
Yeah, I'll see it pop up on eBay every now and then, and it's pretty pricey. I guess that's probably why I never got it.
Yeah. Of course, I've been around since the dawn of Facebook, and so I was lucky enough to hop into those Facebook groups when they first started. So I remember it was just like 20 of us.
I don't remember when I started, like when I got into the groups on Facebook or anything. Because like I said, there was a long period there, like in my 20s, where like I was a fan. Like I watched the movie all the time. I knew the movie, but it was just kind of my thing. Like none of my friends really knew about it or cared about it, so it was just kind of like my thing. But like I was more focused on like music and stuff like that, and just whatever. I don't know when I would have joined in on a lot of those, like the Dawn of the Dead group and all that. But I remember back in the day, like the homepage of the Dead and all the websites and shit back in the day. Like that's what I used to spend a lot of my time on.
Yeah, I remember winning all that promotional gear for Land of the Dead. Like I got like a car freshener, air freshener. Got.
I remember that.
I can't even remember everything that I got, but I ended up selling it. God, I sold every fucking thing.
Yeah, that was a constant over the weekend too. Every story that you would tell would be like, "Oh man, I had this awesome thing," and I'm like, "Oh wow," and you're like, "And then I sold it," and I'm like, "Fuck you!" Like, why?
I really lost interest for a while. It's just like it's just like there just wasn't anything else to get, and like I just had everything in the storage, and I was just like I don't really want any more. Like I didn't need the money, so I just started selling the shit, And Larry bitched at me for selling it, but then was like, "Oh, let me get that from you. Let me get this from you. Let me get that from you."
Hey, I mean, that's what I would have done if you were just like, "Hey, I don't need this shit anymore." I'd be like, "Hey, can you cut me a deal?"
You should have done that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Yeah, I never got to a point like I had sold because I collected shit forever. Mostly now I stick to just like Romero related stuff, but I'd collect Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff and Clockwork Orange stuff. I have a lot of Clockwork Orange shit. But yeah, I never got to the point where I was just like, I'm going to sell all this shit. It was always just like, all right, I'm going to keep this and I'll probably need it again one day. So a lot of the stuff I used to have that I bought like 15, 20 years ago now, I still have. But there was a period there where I probably would have sold some of it, but I just would always talk myself out of it. Like, no, don't sell it. Don't sell it. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, I'm picking up. Well, just speaking of, I'm picking up another CRTV tomorrow morning for free. It's like this big 32-inch CRTV. I don't need another. I already have one. I need another one. I'm all about the whole, like nostalgia. Like
I just need more.
I need more like that big TV. I really wish I could have got that big TV because man, I would have. Oh man.
I don't know what the fuck they think they're gonna do with that TV.
I don't know, man. Like it take.
Because to get it, you'd
Zuno.
have to get it up the stairs at that
I know.
place. And all. It's just like,
You,
fuck all that.
you would need like Zuno and Earthquake and all them folks to carry that shit.
Did you say Yokozuna?
Hey, I used to be a big wrestling fan back in the day.
It's Yokozuna. I remember him, but
Earthquake,
I've never.
Typhoon.
Oh yeah, the natural disasters.
Yep.
When did you stop watching wrestling? Now we're
After
just off
the
on a tangent. And we're just gonna talk. Fuck it.
After the Attitude Era, that's when they just kind of went to shit.
Yeah, that's kind of most people's thoughts.
Like I haven't watched a wrestling match in forever. Like I don't know if we talked about this or not, but like, have you ever heard of New Jack? The guy that like met him several times at local wrestling shows, and man, he was really like that in real life. I mean, he would fuck you up in a heartbeat.
Dude, he tried to stab a guy to death in the ring. He threw a guy off the rafters, almost killed him. I mean, like, yeah, like
he took a
was fucking insane.
Man, and just like blood was just gushing out of that boy's head.
Fucking what was his name? Mass Transit was his name. He was just like a kid that like wanted to be a wrestler but wasn't of like even legal age.
Yep.
Yeah, New Jack was out of his fucking mind.
New Jack, I got something for that ass real quick.
It's a good New Jack impression, actually. I guess you were talking about John and his work. Things have so much to share when we're done. I'm still working on it. Yeah, I'd love to get you on the channel sometime, John.
Yeah,
let you go into the detail about all the work that you put into it. Because I mean, it's so cool that you found Sharon, and it's so cool that she was so sweet and just happy. I mean, because it's like I told you, it's like in my mind, I just picture these people that are just like just living everyday life, and they've just been living their life for the past 50 years, and all of a sudden somebody calls them out of the blue, and they're just like, "Hey, you remember that thing you did for like 50 something years ago for this movie that they're just like, yeah." It's like, "Hey, you want to come make a bunch of money? You want to come sign autographs and be a celebrity for a weekend?" And she said, I think she mentioned, because I saw her posting some stuff on Facebook where she said that she's like 80, I think is how old she is. And she was just like, "Oh, this 80-year-old had so much fun. Like, I never dreamed that I'd be signing autographs and all this stuff." I'm like, yeah, man, like it's so, she was like, I don't know. It just warms my heart that she had such a good time.
He was probably in culture shock, like, because, know, conventions are a culture. I mean, they're their own kind of people. I mean, there's no other people like con people, like.
Yeah, and I'm sure she probably thought like, "Oh, it's going to be some crazy horror fans that are just like, we're just, I don't know." But I think she was pleasantly surprised with how normal most people are, maybe.
I didn't really see any out of the. Well, I can think of one person, but like, I'm not going to say
other than Drewski.
Yeah, his name's
love you, Drewski.
His name's been mentioned, but I'm not going to mention it. But he's a little out there. But he seems like he's a good guy. But
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Every now and then you're going to come across, just like I said.
Yeah, some people are just misunderstood. He's just misunderstood. Yeah. All it is.
Yeah, it's cool. Let's see. Since I spoke to Amplice about his Rico performance, he was funny about it. Apparently, the other guy in the white shirt is Martinez. Okay, I guess I guess Amplice has finally settled on that he's Rico and Joe Shelby's Martinez.
Well, I have two Martinez on my poster. So,
do you really? Did they both sign it as Martinez?
Joe Shelby signed it first as Martinez, and then John Amplice signed it as Martinez.
That's funny. See, now we had fun regardless of the music minutia. We bonded over Romero. Oh, I guess that's when you were talking.
Yeah, I was talking about how you and him were talking synth stuff, and like I'm just like, I have no idea what that means.
I'm pretty out of the loop on that too. Like I watch a lot of like when Synth does a live stream, like Synth will go on for 4 or 5 hours on a fucking live stream, just playing on these fucking, just showing what all these things will do, and I'm fascinated by it. It sounds so good to me. Like I'll just put it on in the background when I'm working on something on my computer. And I'll just list it. It's just like he'll just play something for a while and be like, "Okay, that's how that's done." And then you do this and you adjust this, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about that. Like I've played music, like I've gone to school for music, and like that's a that's a part of music that I don't quite understand,
Like,
but I'm fascinated by it.
like when I think of synth, like I think of something like Zapp and Roger, you know, like the talk box and whatnot. Like to me, that's what synth is. But I'm assuming it's something like you would hear in like an Argento film or something, right?
Yeah, John Carpenter score type of
Yeah.
thing. John says, "What? You don't have Autopsy? I bought it when it first came out before I even knew Jim. Yeah,
Yep.
I never fucking like I said, I've seen it, but I've just never. I got to see it.
John, hey John, who was the other guy that helped him with that documentary? There's someone else. Is it Jeff Carney? Is that his name? Jeff Carney, I think. Maybe. I think it is Jeff Carney. Never mind. I answered one question.
I was gonna say it sounds familiar. Yeah, I got to check that out at some point. So like I said, I've seen it, and I just keep putting it off.
Do what?
I said, like I said, I've seen it available, but I just kept putting it off. Since says maybe we'll remember Scarrett from Alien, the commander that gets the alien jazz hands attack. Let me guess, you hate Alien too?
No, I don't hate it. It's just I mean I like Prometheus. I like the prequels. So.
Oh, interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm not the biggest Alien fan. Like I appreciate Alien for what it is. It's okay. Aliens is okay. Alien 3 is a pile of shit. And I love David Fincher, but Alien 3 is horrible.
I had a friend of mine who was talking about Sigourney Weaver one day, and he was said, yeah, Sigourney. I was like, Sigourney Weaver. I was like, who the fuck is Sigourney Weaver? And I got to thinking, I was like, wait a minute, you mean Sigourney Weaver? He's like, yeah, that's it. Sigourney, like what kind of
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. I was like, what the? I was like, who the hell is that? It was pretty funny. Yeah, I gotta look up this guy because I mean,
hold on, I'll fuck it. I'm gonna look it up for you.
Well, I can't. If you send it to me on the phone, I can't look at it while I'm because I'm using my phone to do this live stream. So.
Nah, I got you. Hang on.
I'll probably know who it is. I just don't know the name.
Tom Skerritt. Let's go young Tom Skerritt. He's a little older now.
41
He's 90. Well, this motherfucker's 90 years old, so.
Oh, okay.
Let me find a good one here. I mean, it's pretty funny. It's pretty uncanny. I just think it's fucking random as hell. Hold on. All right. Let me see if I can share this. Let me share screen. Hold on. Let's see. Can you see? Is that working? There you go. Tom Skerritt.
No, that's the dad from fucking Steel Magnolias. If he would have said that, I would have knew exactly what you're talking about.
I lost my headphones. Hang on. Do what now?
I said that's the guy from the dad from Steel Magnolias.
That's hilarious. I never even realized that. What else is he in?
Like my dad.
Is that what your dad looks like?
I'll send you a picture of my dad.
He was in Contact. He was in the Dead Zone.
Yeah. Because he was. I think he was the detective in the Dead Zone or something.
What else is he in?
Good movie. That's probably the best Christopher Walken film that I like. Even though
that's one of the only Christopher Walken like starring roles too, if you think about it.
Well, I liked him in Prophecy. Prophecy was really good.
Yeah, that's one I haven't seen in a long time. I remember watching that as a kid, and my dad was like, "Oh, this is a movie about Satan coming to Earth." I'm like, "Okay, I'm 5 years old, Dad. Thanks." I don't think about that. He's in all kinds of shit.
Yeah, got a hell of a credit.
Yep. Drum Eatonton, Steel Magnolias, Poltergeist 3. I didn't know that.
Poltergeist 3. God, I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's been
is that the
decades.
one? Is that the one where Heather had died during the filming and they had to?
Yeah.
Heather Donahue, was that her name? Heather Donahue or something like that?
No, that's the Heather from Blair Witch Project. What is that girl's name? A little girl's name.
Heather O'Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
That.
That's right. Yeah, Heather O'Rourke.
Part two, like Poltergeist is scary as shit.
It's been a long time since I've seen part 2 either.
His holy temple. You're all gonna die in there. Ugh.
Just gonna leave this photo of Tom Skerritt up for you.
That shit's funny as hell.
All right. So yeah. So that's who you look like. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it could be worse. It could be like Napoleon or some shit, or Napoleon.
Yeah, I always get fucking Seth Rogen. People are like, "Oh, you look like fucking Seth Rogen." I'm like, "Fuck you."
I can see that. I can see that though. I can see that.
God damn it. I used to be worse back in the day, like when Seth Rogen was kind of a big deal. Everybody's like, "Oh, you look like Seth Rogen." I used to collect movie posters, lobby card steals, etc. Been a couple decades since it's all in storage.
Yeah, you need to find that Don Poster book and get it out and put that bitch up.
Yeah, I got mine framed right here next to me. John says, yeah, she's 80, but she has a lot of vigor. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that Sharon Carroll was 80 years old. It was great because I think recently a pipe broke in our bathroom, and what she made, I think covered the initial payment or something. That's awesome. Yeah, she said she was blown away. She said there was somebody there that spent like a few $100s getting her to sign all these posters and stuff, and she was just blown away. Like, wow, why?
Sell it for 3 times that. God, it's like that. Like that couple that was there, that was just sitting there for like 3 hours getting all their shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. It was like they were right in front of Howard Berger's table, and they had like it's like a wagon full of shit.
Yeah,
and there was a kid just laying on the fucking floor, like coloring.
And I hate people like that. I hate fucking people like that because that's what you say at horror hounds and shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, think about how much money they probably spent on that.
Oh no. Because at first, Tom Berger's his name.
Who?
Berger? What's his name?
Howard Berger. How do you not know Howard Berger?
Well, whatever. Shit. Like,
were you about to call him Tom Bergeron?
Something maybe from Hollywood Squares. But
Tom Berger.
But they said at first he wasn't charging autographs at first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's what I heard. I was surprised that Nicotero was, because Nicotero, I mean, from what I remember, he used to be like either free or he would sign for like $10-20 and he would donate it to something, you know.
I was actually surprised that John Rice was 20. Like, I was really expecting him to be 30 or 40 at least. I was really.
I just feel like John Rice is one of those guys that is a big deal if you know type of thing. Like, to us, like, that was a big deal. But for, Joe Schmo with, 1,000 Friday the 13th posters to sign, and it's like, it's the guy, he was just a SWAT guy, and like, for 5 minutes in the movie, who cares? And it's like, no, like, he knows everything there is probably to know because he was there every day,
I spent more money on him than I spent on anyone else.
Yeah. Well, what all did you get him to sign?
Well, I take that back. Both him and Bill Keys, I got 8x10.
Oh yeah.
They signed my Don poster.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or not poster book, not Don poster, but yeah.
What was your vibe on Bill Keys? How do you think because he did the demonstration, like then you met him on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, he still looks the same.
Did you notice he wrote like your hometown down in a book?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I wonder if he was just, part of me thinks like it was tax purposes, like or something. I don't know. But the other part of me is just like, maybe he wants to keep track of like who all he's meeting and where they're from. Like, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, but yeah, that kind of took me by surprise. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You remember you asked him, he was like, hey, you want to come back and do this again next year? And he was like, I don't know.
I was like, oh shit, well, I guess I better get 2 then.
Well, you seem so indecisive. Go ahead and sign this for me too, please.
Yeah.
Matt, appreciate you stopping by tonight, man. Dipping out. Michael, happy Father's Day. Looking forward to seeing you next year. Yeah, man, you were definitely missed this year. You and Steph and Emery. Like I said, your shit's it's in the mail. It's coming your way, man. Will, I've seen you around, but looking forward to meeting you in person one day.
Sure.
Yeah, Matt's super cool. Matt was probably, of all the like Romero fans and stuff online, Matt was probably the first guy that I actually met in person and talked to in person. I was actually the first year we were at Living Dead weekend, walking through the mall. I saw Matt was coming down the escalator. He was like, "Michael," I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "It's Matt." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah." And then I ended up following him around the rest of the weekend, not on purpose. We just ended up in the same exact spot, like even shit that had nothing to do with Romero. Like we ended up at like a frozen yogurt place at this exact same time. Like we were in there getting frozen, and then they come walking in, and I'm just like, this is a little awkward. Hey, how you doing? Are you following me or am I following you? That's the question. But no, Matt's the best. I hope you can make it back out next year. He said next year he's making sure June is his month. They're doing what he wants to do, by God. So,
like I said, maybe next year we all get like a 4 or 5 bedroom Airbnb, and that way, like, I mean, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know, but the thought of it sounds really nice, so that we can all just nerd the fuck out. But hell, who knows?
Yeah, then you get some fights started in the.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You never know.
Look here, you asshole.
Yes.
Start, having a Rickles and Steel moment from day,
Yeah, where they're just wrestling in the middle of the night.
Literally, yeah.
Let's see. Since says, well, the guy with the hoarse voice yells, "Rico, look out!" And I always thought, it was referring to Ampless. Maybe he's still unsettled. That makes sense to me. I think that makes the most sense to me. Because the guy that yells, "Rico, look out," is Joe Shelby, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that would make the most sense. Stukas wants to know, do you hate Mad Max as well? Do you hate Mad Max? This is going to be a reoccurring thing on the show. I'm going to just bring you on and see what movies you hate and which ones you like.
Like, I like Mel Gibson.
You do?
I do. But Mad Max, no, I'm good. I don't like it. Like Dune, couldn't get into it. I can't handle anything with.
Yeah.
Now, what's that movie with Kevin Costner, Underworld or Waterworld? That was
Waterworld.
But like the whole like desert living, like God, I could not imagine living like that. Ugh, be dirty all the time. No, I can't. No, there's just no way.
Yeah, I remember after you were desperately trying to wash your hands as soon as we left the airport. After getting those signs up, you were just like, I gotta wash my fucking hands, dude. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. No, there's no way I could live like
that. That would not be your.
I just can't handle that. Like I can't handle anything dirty. That's OCD in me. I can't help it.
Scarrett gets some action in Poison Ivy. I haven't seen Poison Ivy in a while. What's the guy from Sleeping with the Enemy? You seen that movie with Julia Roberts?
I think Richard Gere.
No, that's Pretty Woman. Sleeping with the Enemy is where the one I think she's married to a guy that's like a psychopath, but she falls in love with some other guy. But the guy has like this big pronounced mustache. I had a mustache at one point, and I always, when I look back on, I'm like, I look like the fucking villain in Sleeping with the Enemy. And I always remember his mustache because there's a scene in the movie where he's drinking from a water fountain before he's about to go kill the grandma or something. And the water's just like cascading off of his mustache and just like dripping. It's just like this really pronounced thing.
Like how a dog looks from a water bottle. It's got this drool is coming down.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the guy's name. The mustache is fairly new. I've only had it for about a month and a half. I had a full beard, but like I just wanted something different.
Yeah, it looks good. It works for you. Yeah, it works for you. Christopher Walken in True Romance is great. Yeah, but Christopher Walken, that wasn't really a lead role. It was kind of a scene. Have you seen True Romance?
No.
You gotta watch that. That's good. There's a scene between him and Dennis Hopper.
I'm writing these things down as we go.
Okay.
I have a notepad over here because I took notes before we came on just to see if I could remember things.
Yeah, I got a shitload of notes. I got fucking note cards. I was just trying to like plan out, like trying to remember what we did when and all that. But yeah, True Romance. Check that out. It's directed by Tony Scott, written by Quentin Tarantino. There's a scene between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper. It's so good. It's just two of the best fucking actors in history, just going back and forth. It's so good.
Yeah. I have a note here that says European tour, but I don't know what European tour is.
European tour.
I have no idea what that note means.
You wrote it.
I know, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck what do I mean by European tour? I don't know.
No, I don't remember.
I have
I don't
no
know.
idea why I wrote that. I must have had a stroke, like because I had a couple many of those over the weekend.
You did. There were times where it was just like you spazzed out, and I was just like, "Well, are you okay?"
It's just a mini stroke, a little bit.
Did you guys meet Kurtzman before he left K&B? No, I've never met Robert Kurtzman.
Mm-mm. Those fuckers is what made conventions explode and be so expensive. Their glorified makeup skills and nunchuck skills and
Fucking Walking Dead, man.
yeah, fucking ruined everything.
Were you a fan of Walking Dead?
I was up until the governor, and then after that it went to shit.
I watched the first season, and I was like, after that, I was like, it was good, but I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good enough for me. Like, I thought it was, well, I'm done. This is as far as I want to go with it.
I got to the third season, and I think that's when I was over it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really given the rest of the show a shot, but I was like, the first season, I was like, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm satisfied. I don't want to go any further. That show was just insane hit back in the day. Like, I remember Halloween, when the guy with the fucking baseball bat,
Negan.
Yeah, when that was big,
yeah.
And like every kid was coming up to the houses dressed as that fucking guy with the baseball bat, and I was like, I don't even know what the hell's going on here. But yeah, that was a huge show. Is it still on?
I don't think so. I think it's Daryl Dixon's or whatever. Was it Daryl Dixon? Is that his name?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it's like his spinoff that's like they're doing now. Because I know he was in. Sean Clark posted something about it not too long ago about Norman.
This guy again. Of course, he's posting. He's trying to make some fucking dough on it, man. He's trying to keep Daryl Dixon alive as long as possible.
Yeah, that's just cash cow, man. Like,
hey, good for him though.
I'm surprised that because Sean Clark was going to get Jamie Lee Curtis for H45, but she only did that one.
Yeah, what was it? The 30th?
She did 40 H40, or no, she did a Horror Hound in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I remember she did something where everything went to charity or whatever that she did, but I don't give a shit about meeting Jamie Lee Curtis though. Are you a big Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween fan?
I love Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, but I don't know if let me keep this to myself.
No, let it out.
I've always been told that
it's almost midnight. Let it go.
I've always there's urban legends, the whole Rod Stewart urban legend, and then there's the Jamie Lee Curtis.
What's the Rod? Hold on. What's the Rod Stewart urban legend?
About how he about how everybody ran a train on him and they had to pump his stomach. Had to pump his stomach because it was full of cum, or something like that.
I've never heard this urban legend before. Holy shit!
And then with Jamie Lee Curtis, that she's a hermaphrodite. Like she has both male and female parts.
I vaguely remember hearing something about that.
Is that hermaphrodite? Is that what they call them?
Hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite. Is that the?
Yeah, I think that's the clinical term. I think you can use that.
That's just what I've been told. Of course, urban legends, like Bigfoot,
Yeah, in True Lies, you could probably see something if there was something there, but
I mean, look at look at Roy Finkel or Ray Finkel from.
Well, the lady that plays Ray Finkel in Ace Ventura is not really a guy either. That's actually a woman.
But he has the worst case of hemorrhoids that I've ever seen.
He found Captain Winky. That's one of the greatest movies ever.
Bumblebee tuna.
Bumblebee tuna. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, we got on Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, my opinion of Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, like, yeah, I mean, she's like one of the original scream queens. But like, I just anything after. I liked Halloween. I liked Christmas with the Cranks, but I mean, I didn't really care for Halloween H2O whatsoever.
See, I liked Halloween H2O a lot better than like the newer Halloween
Yeah,
movies.
I mean, I liked the first one, but the second and third ones were kind of like, ugh.
See, to me in like Halloween H2O, at least Jamie Lee Curtis was still strong. Like she was still fucked up from her past, but she was still like, yeah, she was a bit of an alcoholic and was still having nightmares and stuff. But she was still a successful teacher and like raising her son, you know, Josh Hartnett and whatnot. But when they come back and do it in the 2018 version, they've just got her as like this crazy fucking lunatic, pissing in jars and eating cat food type of lady. You know what I mean? Like, so at least they kept her strong in H2O and.
Yeah.
But I'm just never really like. I just don't really care about like meeting Jamie Lee Curtis. Like if I got the opportunity and it was fine, you know, whatever. But I'm not gonna pay a shitload of money because Jamie, like the best guests to meet at these conventions are people that are fans of the movies too, or they're just fans of the genre, like a Bill Moseley or somebody like that, or fans of the movie that they're in, and they like John Amplis. Like I say, there's no bigger fan of Martin than John Amplis. Like,
right,
he loves
exactly.
it, and he loves talking about that fucking movie. But Jamie Lee Curtis is just kind of like, yeah, you know, she's just, it's like, yeah, it's a movie I did. You know, I've done 1,000 movies. And it's just like another thing to them. So there's not a lot to really talk to them about because they're just like, I don't know, it was 45 years ago. Who remembers? Who cares?
They don't really care. It's just like, well, I care, and that's what's most important. I'm paying you money to meet you, and I want you to show some decency and reciprocate, like sometimes talk, like, yeah, I'd be like, Andy would, just ask, just questions that you would never think to ask anyone,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I remember him asking some questions, like, what, I never really thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
like asking those off the wall questions that no one really thinks about. But I guess I don't know.
And that's the cool thing about like when you meet like a Tom Dubinsky or John Rice too, is that they're not. It's like they don't give a shit about signing autographs or doing any of that. They just want to talk. They just love talking about the movie. Like they love talking about their work.
Is there anything out there that we don't know? Like that's what I want to know. Like tell me something that I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm mostly interested in when I'm talking to these people. And a lot of the time, you find out something you don't like the guy was actually John Rice's dad. You know, Joe Rice. That's the stuff I love. You know,
but you just never really hear of anything new. Like something newly discovered, or I mean, besides what John did, but
yeah. But she's curious to see what else she's got on the.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see. Hopefully, we'll get something for October. Hopefully, October.
Yeah, let's hope.
Not only am I going to go to Atlanta to see Galen and Scott, but I got to somehow work Pittsburgh into that at the same time too. So,
well, by the sound of it, it sounds like your job likes to fuck with you, so you might want to get those dates in early as possible.
Yeah, I'm doing that as soon as it opens. Yeah, but the good thing about Atlanta, I can do that just on a Saturday because Atlanta's only 4 hours away.
Yeah, Atlanta's not too bad. Stiga says it got into Walking Dead mostly because it was filmed really close. So I know it was shot a lot in Atlanta. Like there's a lot of locations in Atlanta. Speaking to that, Walking Dead made me happy to have gore and dystopia on TV, but it was a hit or miss. The comic is amazing. would be NC-17 if they shot it. There are 2 spinoffs now. Okay. Yeah, that was the thing. That's the funny thing too, is like when that when that show was on, like there was so much gore and shit, over the top stuff that they would have never have gotten away with on film back in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And now it's just all on TV, and it's just like not a big deal. Since this Rod Stewart stomach pumped rumor, too funny. You don't get sick from jizz like like a poison. Can you over? That's the question of the night, folks. Can you overdose on jizz? Just Rod Stewart.
I mean, a lot of gay innuendos tonight. I mean,
Well,
but I mean, that's the urban legend that I've always been told. You know,
I was 10 when H2O came out. Yeah, I was
you're
10.
H-
See, since says Curtis was sexy in Trading Places and perfect.
Yeah, Inga from Sweden. Yeah.
My Uncle Mark wants to know. My Uncle Mark wants to know what's so wrong with pissing in jars. Well, I mean, if it's your only option, not a bad. But if you're just doing it to save it and reuse it for some purpose, I don't know.
I had a roommate one time, and he was an extreme alcoholic, and he was so lazy that he would just piss in bottles and just you just find piss bottles laying around his room. Like, Robbie, that's just fucking disgusting. Like, take your ass and go use the bathroom. Like,
I couldn't do that. He
No.
would have been gone. Like, I'm sorry, you're no roommate pissing in jars or bottles, or I can't. No.
It made no sense. I mean, he was drinking that Keystone Light. Ugh, God.
It's not his only option, but it's his most preferred option.
Yeah.
Keystone Light, that shit's rough.
Hey, that Iron City was actually pretty good. Like, it was really good. I told myself I was gonna stop by and get some, but man, once I got on the road, I was on the road. I was doing 90 all the way home.
Were you doing 90? I was wondering that because I was behind you for the most part heading out of Pittsburgh, and then before I knew it, you were fucking gone. Like, I had no idea where you went. I was just like, well, there. Couldn't keep up with his ass.
Yeah, I literally, when you text me, I literally had just walked into the house.
Oh yeah, that's about the time I got home. So you must have stopped maybe probably a couple of times.
I stopped at a Steak and Shake because I was really craving a milkshake, and so
that sounds good.
I found one on the other side of Cincinnati, so I was like, I'm stopping.
It's been a while since I've had Steak and Shake. There's a Steak and Shake down the road here, but it's closed. But yeah, I only stopped once. I stopped like right around Louisville.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was somewhere. I stopped and I had to gas up and get a cold, shitty piece of pizza from somewhere in the middle of Ohio somewhere. Then I stopped again in Louisville because I was about to fall asleep, and I'd grab a coffee and.
I know there for a couple of hours. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make this. It's like I'm running on 6 hours of sleep in 2 days. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make this or not.
Yeah, really. It's like, yeah, the drive was like tiring, and like I was ready to get home, but by the time I got home, like I was wired again. I don't know if it's from the coffee all the coffee I drank, but I was so wired again. I was just like showing all my shit, and I was just like, hey, look what I got. Look at this, look at this, look at this.
Right.
Just telling stories, and it was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, calm down. And I was up that night until 1:00. Like, I couldn't fall asleep. Like, I was just so like wired. I had to just fucking come down a little bit.
We were still on that con high,
Yeah.
I'm like
something.
This is probably the best con that I've ever been to, like ever in my life. And I've been to a lot of cons. Like, this was by far the best one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's just, to me, it's just the people you meet and the friendships you make and the conversations you have, and yeah, it's definitely probably one of the most fun weekends I've had in a really, really long time. But overall, final thoughts. We're coming up on the 4-hour mark. I don't want to keep you up all night. I did plenty of that last weekend.
Yeah, that's okay though. Final thoughts. It was great. I'm really, really hoping that they can get some together for October. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, what do you think they're going to do for that?
Well, it sounds like they might have someone else lined up. based on the context clues that I was reading throughout the post, I think they have someone up their sleeve, something, or something is big. It's something.
Because I didn't mention, I'm gonna give him a shout out too. Michael, I can't ever pronounce his name. Salandra, the guy who did the actual artwork for the poster, and has done artwork for the posters in the past. Met him back at Horror Hound a few months back, but he mentioned it would just be cool just to get a group of people together, have like a little dinner or something, a screening or something like that. That'd be fucking cool.
Like a 1-day event, yeah, I'd totally go up there for 1 day, like literally.
Honestly, any reason to just like go back to Pittsburgh,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm good. I'll take you up on it.
Yeah, I really hope they can come up with something, and like, I don't know, maybe get Judy, or something, because Judy was just at a con this past weekend with Lori, another Hunters Against Hate. So there's a guy that used to live in Lexington. It's sort of like a well, I don't even know how to explain it. What happened?
Sorry, you dropped out and came back in. You're fine.
Oh, so the Hunters Against Hate. So Lori Cardill and Judith O'Day were at a con in, like, I think Chicago this past weekend. And they deal with like a lot of like, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's like a gay advocacy group, and they like they use like horror to fight hate, against homophobia or whatever.
Yeah, there's something, I forget what it was. I've heard Blasey talk about it before, but there's can't think of the name of it. There's a convention that does kind of a similar thing, not for the same cause, but I get what you're saying though. Yeah. Scares that care, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
yes, it's something along those lines. Yeah, but I think it'd be nice to have Judith O'Day back. I mean, because
she's great. She's super, super nice. I can't say enough good things about Judy O'Day.
It was like when I met her for the first time, it was like talking to my grandmother. I know that probably sounds bad, but like she just hugged on me. She was like, "Oh, it's so great to meet you," and like, I mean, you tell me your experience. I mean, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Judith O'Day.
No
one.
Super nice.
Just Sabini, but that's it. That's really only the person.
Oh, Tom. He's just misunderstood. He's just a unique kind of cat.
Yeah.
Different kind of guy.
I'll eventually get something signed one of these days.
Yeah, you still never got his signature. You just went up and asked him a question.
Yep. I don't know. They say don't meet your heroes, and so I mean, I'm not saying he's my hero, but like,
I mean, in a way, he kind of was when I first met him. Like, I was just like, I looked up to that guy. I was like, oh wow, this guy's awesome. Like, and then you meet him and it's like, well, this guy's kind of a dick. Since it's a beer can from the End of Dawn, do they still make that beer? Never heard of it. Gibbons, I don't know. It may be if they do.
Hold
I've never.
Hold on.
So Gibbons American Brewmakers Collection. I don't know if they still make this or not.
So here is one of the original cans. Like that was actually used in. I mean, this wasn't used in the film, but it's screen accurate.
Right. Are you talking about the Iron Cities or the Gibbons?
Oh, I thought he was talking about the beer can from the End of Dawn. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. My bad. Yeah,
I think he's talking about the Gibbons. Gibbons, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere else.
Yeah, I didn't either. Like, I didn't even notice it in the movie until he showed it to us. But yeah, it's when they were in the apartment, sort of like when they were, Steven had the TV on, and there hasn't been a broadcast in 3 days, and
why don't you give it up?
Why don't you give it up?
That was another fun aspect of the trip. Just every now and then, me and Will would just break out into pieces of dialogue. I'm like, man, we're completely fucking nerding out here.
It was Nerd Central.
Nerd Central.
But it's fun to be able to do that.
It is. Like I said, you don't get to do that with too many people. I had zero sleep from Wednesday to Thursday night due to the red eye and excitement. I was wasted on Thursday night after adrenaline ran out and not much caffeine. Yeah. Sunday was kind of like that. Well, not Sunday, but Saturday was kind of like that. Before we really eaten or anything, like we were dragging ass.
Yeah, for sure. No coffee at that. Oh god, that was like the first day I haven't had coffee. And, like I didn't have coffee until like 3:00.
Yeah. And I told you I'm typically used to having coffee like 4 or 5 times throughout the day.
Literally.
So,
But what?
Well,
But your final thought, I guess so.
final thoughts. Had a good time. Great time. Good convention. I always love coming back to Pittsburgh for any reason.
Yeah.
But Living Dead Weekend, like I said, if you haven't gone, or if you haven't been, if you haven't gone, I don't know if that's proper English. If you've never been and you've always wanted to visit the mall, or you've wanted to visit the Evans City Cemetery, you wanted to visit any of the number of locations that you can find that Romero shot anything at, perfect time to do it is Living Dead Weekend, because not only are you going to see all these locations and do all these things, but you're also going to have kind of a home base to go to just meet all these people, chat with people that are like the same things that you like, and then make new friends, like me and Mr. Phelps here.
Lloyd Cecil Christmas.
Yeah. So I mean, it's always a good time. It just sucks. I'm still a little bummed that it's already come and gone, but hopefully there'll be something sooner than later in October. Like I said, any excuse to get back to Pittsburgh, I'm all for. So
I mean, like I said, like just something at Edco Park or something, like just something. Something. Hell, we could have it. I don't know, LMA Smith's house. Hell, who cares? Like, I don't care. Something, like
just a cookout at LMA Smith's house.
Yeah,
I'm down for it.
Cookout, grilled, hot dogs and hamburgers and.
Hey, I'm down. I'll do it. But appreciate everybody in the chat. It's good seeing Synth and Uncle Mark. Do it before it's too late. So glad I went. Started. Yeah, glad you finally made it out, Synth. Like I said, you flew all the way across the country for it, and I'm glad you had a good time and got lots of footage, and I'm sure there's more to come. So looking forward to that.
He whipped them good.
That's right. Stukas, good to see you, sir. Later, fellas. Matt Landrum, of course. John Vulo, good to see you guys in the chat. Get some more shout outs here. Uncle Mark, always good to have you in here. You are the you're the VIP around here, because if you weren't here, this channel would not be doing what we're doing. Brandon Salisbury, good to see you. Morning Night, that's a new name. I appreciate you stopping by the chat. I know I'm probably missing quite a few people, but
There's Ted or something like that, or Zed of the Dead.
Oh, yep, Zed of the Dead. Robert Dobbins and his wonderful wife Christine Romero.
Wow, she was like Christine. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
apparently that's like apparently that was like her previous husband's last name, and it was just like, dude, just take it anyway. Fuck it.
Right.
It's like, make that name proud. Thank you for the stream. We filmed it and we got it all. There you go, Sen.
Right. Exactly.
1911 Guitar Dude, of course. Have a good night. Thanks for the great stream. Appreciate you stopping in here, man. Mr. Brett Aitken here. Says thanks for the show. Just flew by. Yeah, another 4 hours. Yep. I don't think I'll be able to do this every week, but when I got somebody like Will here or Larry last week, it's easy to go 4 hours just talking about this shit. It's always a good time.
I can talk about it for days. I mean, like, I could never get tired.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, I never get tired talking about it. Never.
Yeah, I mean, I do a channel and that's all I talk about. So I obviously will never get tired of talking about it, because there's always something. There's always just something that pops into my head. It's like, I could do a stream on that. Like, let's talk about the relationship between Flyboy and Fran. Do they love each other? Does Fran love Flyboy? Why does Flyboy desperately seek her approval? I mean, I'll just make a 2-hour fucking stream about that, because I'm insane that way. I'm fucking crazy. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. What'd you say?
I said crazy attracts crazy. So.
Oh yeah, that is true. I can vouch for that. Synth wants to know, why does Fran smoke while pregnant? Because it was the 70s.
Yeah. My mom smoked with me, and I turned out okay.
You know, I didn't realize it until I really thought about it, but I never grew up in a smoke-free environment ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad smoked in the house, like all these in the house, in the car, everywhere. My dad smoked. My grandparents on both sides smoked. My granny is one of those women that would have a cigarette lit in every room of the house.
Yeah.
In an ashtray, just in case she went from the bathroom to the bedroom, there was a cigarette waiting. I never was not in it, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means, and I don't know. Just a realization. But appreciate everybody checking it out. LDW was fun this year. Like I said, hopefully there'll be something in October. If not, Synth, Matt, all you guys, John. Hope to see you guys again next year. And until then, there's going to be plenty to talk about. And Will, I really appreciate you hopping on tonight, helping me kind of go through the series of events again, because so much went down on so little sleep.
Yeah.
It's just a big blur of excitement and
Exactly.
So.
Oh yeah, I was great being on. Yeah, just we'll catch up. We'll hang out soon. So.
Yes, definitely. Let's do that. But until next time, guys, on the channel, I appreciate it. Have a good night and a great rest of the week. And as always, stay scared.